Hey up, folks, how you doing? It's only episode 11 of It's All Geek to Me, the pop culture chat show where three friends with varying degrees of nerd knowledge get together each week to have a chat about all things geek. My name is Rich Gittins, and joining me this week and every week is my best buddy. It's Mr. Chris Lum. Hey up, Lummy, come on in.
Hello.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm all right, yeah. Just before I went live on the show, I nearly didn't press go live on the show when you're in this, and I started the intro and I thought, hang on a minute, I've not actually gone live, so slight technical to start, but it was fine. Nobody noticed until I said.
Only we noticed that. In fact, we probably didn't need to bring it up. Hey, dude, how's your week been?
Oh, it's been all right. I started a new YouTube channel. There you go.
Oh, what's that all about? Or are you going to wait to the end and plug it at the end?
I'll tell you now. It's just
go on then, do it.
It's just impressions. It's called Chris Lum Voices, and it's got all my impression videos. I basically put them on, and people can go on and suggest impressions if they want. I'll tell me where to go.
Literally nice. Oh well, bless. Let's get the suggestions in. So is it called Chris Lum?
Chris Lum Voices, it's called.
Chris Lum Voices on YouTube. Get yourself over there. Go and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's All Geek to Me. And get yourselves down in the comments below and give us a share on all the socials. It's about creating a community here, ladies and gentlemen. And boy, we've got a great show lined up for you today. But it's not a show unless we've got Nathan Webb. Come on out, Webby.
Finally, it is.
Finally invited to the party.
How you doing?
I'm tired. I'm not tired. I'm only kidding. I'm tired of waiting to be brought into this show. I'm raring to go. I'm raring to go.
Are you upset because I introduced Lummy as my best buddy?
I don't know what to say, though. Yeah, I mean,
I know you two are better buddies, and
dude, I was hoping this was never going to come up on the show.
Hey, do you know what? Do you know why I know that? Do you know why I know that? Because when we were at college, we all got separated, didn't we? And you two were together, and I were off in a separate group, weren't we? We got the split our group. So do you remember?
You tell yourself that, Lummy. That's why. Yeah, that's why.
I always felt you should have been in our group, Lummy.
Yeah, definitely.
Personally. Yeah.
I can't even remember. What were the groups called? Were they like
Hall and something else?
Hall and Oates and Corridor.
Those two, Simon Hall and Simon
Beckett.
No, they were two theatre director guys, weren't they?
As soon as the groups got separated, I lost interest in the course, so I just I don't know.
Yeah, so we're here.
How's your week been, Webby? What have you been up to?
Oh man, it's been all right this week. Although I have to say, the other day, a couple of days ago, I was minding my own business, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cooling, and a couple of guys were up to no good, and they just started trouble in the neighbourhood.
Oh man, you didn't get into a fight, did you?
No, I didn't. My mum dragged me off.
She gets scared. She gets scared at that sort of thing. Yeah.
So I've got to live with my auntie and uncle in Bel Air now.
So you get a good internet signal, so we can carry on doing the show.
Yeah, every week. In the palatial Bel Air mansion. That's what we're doing.
Well, you should invite us out when all of this is over. We'll come and do shows all together. We can do it in a room together rather than over the internet. I'm
only messing, by the way. I haven't been fighting. I won't do that. I'm a pacifist. But yeah, I don't condone violence.
Speaking of fighting, we've got a very special guest joining us at 9 o'clock tonight. We've got Mr. Xavi Monreal. He is on the he's on the Stunt register, and he's appeared in some Marvel films and some other blockbusters that are going to be coming out soon, and at the Royal Opera House and places like that. So he's going to be an awesome guy to have a chat to. So feel free to drop your comments below and your questions for Xavi. He'll be coming up at 9 o'clock. But what's been going on in the world of news this week, Webby?
Oh, news. Yeah, it's news time. So, right, okay, let's get cracking.
We should have a bit of music or something, shouldn't we, for that? Geek.
So this week, we had a treat coming out.
Geek.
We've got, so the Super Bowl's coming up, and the Super Bowl commissioned a trailer. I keep saying trailer, advert this week. and it's been tipped as Gremlins 3. So I got really excited when it popped into me inbox, and I thought, "Ooh, Gremlins 3, what's this all about?" So I found myself watching a trailer, watching an advert for Gremlins what's it called? Mountain Dew, sugar-free Mountain Dew, with the kid who's no longer a kid, fully grown-ass man, Billy from Gremlins, sitting on his sofa with a Mogwai, I assume it's Gizmo, drinking Mountain Dew. It really is as terrible as it sounds. It's about 25 seconds, 30 seconds long. Don't have much of a point other than to shoehorn some.
I've got. Do you want a picture of Gizmo? There you go.
There he is. Yeah, it's still cute. He's still got it.
Zach Galligan's the guy who's.
I know. But yeah,
it looks like he's got a bit of grey hair there, though. And he had whiskers, like grey whiskers.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know much about Mogwais, do we? Which brings me on to the fact that it reminded me that there is a cartoon that's been talked about for quite some time called Secrets of the Mogwai, is it? Yeah, Gremlins, Secrets of the Mogwai. And it's set in China, allegedly, around the Mogwai. You can only imagine what it's about, where the Mogwai came from, what happens when they live in China, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. But it's also generated more talk about the possibility of a Gremlins 3 coming our way, which in this day and age we all know is a bit of a double-edged sword, because half the time your sequels you're expected to be brilliant are kind of crap.
See, this is what I was going to say. Would you want to watch a Gremlins 3 after Gremlins 2?
Yes.
Would you?
Yeah, Lobby would, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, why not? They're making all sorts of other stuff, so fuck it, bring it on. Make us a Gremlins 3 and we'll judge it when it comes along. I'll love it.
I mean, I'd like to watch it, and I'd like to think that if it had the same sort of sentimentality and team behind it as the first one, it could be great. But
give Joe Dante another massive budget and say do what you want again, like they did with second one.
And next in the news as well, to bringing us neatly to another film that has a massive potential to crush our little hearts or be totally awesome. Ghostbusters 3.
It's going to be awesome.
We've got a couple of comments here about Gremlins before you wait a minute. So looks like Gizmo been on the gin. Big Team R, welcome back.
Hey buddy, how you doing? Yeah, thanks for coming back to the show again.
That brings me on to a Mogwai related question, actually.
Sorry, Webb.
Cover his whole face.
Thanks for that.
Oh, it's a shame you can't put your fingers over the top of the message so you're peering over.
I feel bad every time I do that, but I can't do all about it. I'm sorry.
No, you do. I'm not bothered.
It's look at the draw.
Leave your comments, folks. Leave the longest comments you possibly can.
I wonder if it goes so long it'll cover us two up as well. So it's quite really long.
Stick a sonnet up.
Yeah.
Mountain Dew adverts sounds worse than the Elvis impersonator doing the voice for the Poundland self-serve tools, which in itself is a fate worse than dying on the.
I agree.
Yeah, I remember getting Ant and Dec served me a self-service till before, and I was just like, I think it was at Marks and Spencer's, don't you know? And I remember turning around to the person next to me, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I just shot the shit out of this old lady.
So I was wondering, speaking of that comment that's just been popped up about him drinking gin, looks like he's been on the gin. How does a Mogwai drink? Can they drink?
Well, I thought about this because
if they drink water, the balls of Mogwai keep flying out of the mouth.
No, because and I thought about this the other day, right? Don't let me get my Gremlin storybook out. I will. I know. It's just a news section. Don't make me. Right. Basically, if they're drinking, they're fine. It's if water touches the skin, the fur, the body.
Oh, that's that covered then. Thank you, Professor.
Oh, right. So you've got so they have to be tidy drinkers. They can't
basically, yeah. If you have it internally, you're all right.
Sorry, if you have it, howl at me.
Internally.
Right. Okay. Cool.
You're not going to do that on gesture again, are you? You're not brave enough. Hey,
if you have it if you have your Mountain Dew internally, you'll be fine.
Through a straw.
Right. Okay.
Well, or you're just careful, like Webb said. If you're careful drinking it,
it's impossible.
That's playing with fire. Well, playing with wet fire, though.
It is, but they die if they don't drink water. But anyway,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Science. We'll have to watch Secrets of the Mogwai cartoon to find out.
They might get enough moisture from the food that they eat.
Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, there's that whole thing about the feeding after midnight thing as well. If they get a bit of food stuck in the, they didn't think it through, did they, when they made the first one?
It's still cool, though, isn't it? Still a cool idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I think it is, for me, it's a movie that's clearly a B movie at heart, but it's too good to be a B movie. You know what I mean? That's why it works for me. But anyway, leading us on nicely to another 3 that we could be worried about. I mean, I have seen the trailer for this, guys. The trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife has been out for nearly 2 years now. Here's a little shot. Yeah, that's set in the countryside. This one. We don't know much about the plot unless you like your spoilers and you've read the synopsis, like Mr. Lum.
I accidentally came across it and I thought, oh, is this any good? And I started reading it like I do, and I thought, that sounds like the film. It sounds like it's going to be. And I'm like, I've just ruined it for myself. But it sounds, if it's true, it sounds excellent, and it'll really be top notch.
I can't wait. I can't wait till it comes out. I'm very excited.
We were supposed to be watching this last summer, weren't we? So it's a bit annoying that we've got to wait till November's the latest.
It is November. You're right.
Which is so long away, so far away. So
that's a whole nother lockdown away.
I'm probably going to keep calling it Ghostbusters 3, even though there's no 3 anywhere near the title. It's not a direct sequel to the other Ghostbusters. But
really? I didn't know.
Yeah, well, it is. It is, but they're not calling it 3, which is fair enough. So, other news this week: Stanley Kubrick. They have discovered a script that never got made roundabout from the era of Spartacus, so before, early 60s, called Lunatic. What is it called? The Last Lunatic? Lunatic on the Loose? I can't remember what it's called.
Police Academy 8, Lunatic on the Loose.
But so they're making a brand new Kubrick film without Kubrick. Scarlett Johansson is scheduled to star in it. Called Lunatic on the Moon. Moonatic. I don't know.
I can't remember what it's called.
But look out for that as well. I'm sure that's going to be really good. See if you can find do our job for us and see if you can find an actual title for that. So that's quite exciting. Bit of Kubrick news. I wonder if it's going to be styled like Kubrick to look like as we've seen with certain things recently. Most notably things like Ratched that I watched, which was very Kubrickian.
Yeah.
Have
you guys seen? You'll have seen The Shining, both of you, won't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, do you know about the conspiracy theories about The Shining? Like all these, it's all supposed to mean different stuff. The film.
There's an entire documentary about it.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, that's what room
217 or 122.
Yeah, whatever the room number is, which 237.
Yeah, 237 in the books and 217 in the film because Kubrick changed it and it pissed. I might have that the wrong way around, but whatever. He changed it and it pissed Stephen King off that he changed the room number. It changed many things about the book. It's completely unrecognizable from the book is the Kubrick version. But yeah, one of my favorite films of all time, man. I absolutely love it. I even watched the sequel with Ewan McGregor, which it was all right. It was all right.
Doctor Sleep.
Yeah, which I could have done during that movie. It wasn't great, but
I've not seen it.
But it does go back to, spoiler alert, it does go back to the Overlook and you see what it looks like now and stuff. It was quite interesting if you're a Shining fan. More news this week. We've got some news about Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. Only a little bit of news, really. It's that Danny Elfman has signed up to do the score for it, which is obviously, if you like your Danny Elfman stuff, it's pretty cool. He's got massive geek credentials as Danny Elfman. So, and it's not the first time he's worked in a Marvel setting. I think he did some Spider-Man and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I think he did the scores for and stuff. So yeah, I think he did.
I think he did I don't know if he did the second one. Can't remember.
I can't remember either. But yeah, he's a fantastic composer. I've actually seen him live, believe it or not, weirdly enough.
I know you have, you son of a bitch, because you didn't tell me. Can't believe it.
Daisy, hey up Daisy, if you're watching. We went to the Leeds Arena when it first opened, and Danny Elfman did a huge concert there, and he came out and he sang all the Jack Skellington Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. It was unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
I honestly the music itself was beautiful, but to see him come out and actually do a bit of singing, it was just a proper one of the biggest geek thrills of my life, man. It was amazing. But going back to the multiverse, and I thought this leads us quite nicely into what's going on in WandaVision. Now, we've agreed between us that a lot of people haven't seen it yet. We haven't done an episode by episode like we did with The Mandalorian because we don't want to ruin it for you. But spoiler alert, we will be talking about it in the next couple of weeks. We think we're going to wait for it to finish, and then we're going to give it a good looking at. Because
can we just get an audience perspective here, actually? Because we've been doing this because we didn't want to spoil it for you, and we were worried that kind of it might break up the show for you. But actually, how many of you would have been bothered about whether we were doing any reviews of WandaVision or a show that happens on a Friday night? Because we're on a Saturday night, it doesn't give people much chance to watch the show. So yeah, what's your opinion? Because we are a community, and it's worth getting your thoughts on this, because
the spoiler thing is very divisive, isn't it? My brother doesn't give him shit about spoilers. You can tell him whatever you want, and he's not bothered. Or so he says. Maybe he's secretly really bothered and like. But
we've got a comment here about this. I saw this actually before we came on, but we're a bit late to sell. Apparently, develop and direct.
Guys, I do know a little bit about this because I've read The Running Man, and it is totally different. Not many people know that it was. I can't remember if it's exactly not the same story. It's a very similar kind of story, but they took the film The Running Man and the book The Running Man very, very different, like The Shining and the book of The Shining. But yeah, interesting, man. I mean, we're at this point now where when they're done right, we finally realise that Stephen King movies can be absolutely awesome. I mean, that's been evident over the years. You have things like Misery that won an Oscar. You've got The Shining by Kubrick, which even though it's not faithful Stephen King adaptation, is definitely one of his biggest ones. You got Carrie with Sissy Spacek. So they have been able to do good ones. Then we get into the 90s and things like Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile start coming out, and they can be fantastic when they're done well. But now there seems to be this massive interest in him, and they are just either refilming stuff again, like The Stand's just being made into another TV show, or they are like It as well. It got its 2 chapters, didn't it? Which divided people a lot again because there was so much love for the original It with Tim Curry in the 90s. And, also, I mean, I think a lot of people I know enjoyed the first part of chapter 1 of it, but not the second one so much. But yeah, Stephen King has a habit of writing endings in his books that are just quite unfilmable. It is a great example of that. I think they came pretty close to the book, but still not perfect. But yeah, we're at this point where Stephen King is almost everything he owns has the potential to be remade.
I'd like to see a remake of Stand By Me, actually.
Yeah, I think
it's a brilliant film. I just think it could be. I think, especially with the young talent we've got available to us now as well, I think it could be awesome.
Do you know about the Stephen King website where you can go on and pay $1 to get the rights to one of his unmade stories, and you can go film it?
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah. I think it's called Dollar Babies. If you go on or something like that, and you basically pay $1 and you can make it. As long as it's not tied up with a production company, there's a list of them. I'm sure.
That's
awesome.
How has he got any left? Surely people would have.
There's loads on there. There's loads of shots.
Yeah. Because there are loads of them that used to produce. That used to be printed out in newspapers. Just how the Green Mile was. It was released episodically in newspapers.
I think
so there's loads of stories like that. That's Dan. Yeah.
Wasn't what?
What wasn't what?
Spoilers.
What? I don't know.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah,
I got hope for that. I like that. I think. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, reviews.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is about WandaVision is all we're saying basically is it took us all by surprise. We thought they might be onto something, but it turns out they are, and it is not what it's not what we expected at all. The ideas they're carrying with them are absolutely massive. It does have potential. This is why we came into this from Doctor Strange, the sequel to Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, which is tied into the next Spider-Man film and potentially tied into WandaVision as well. So we can't say too much about it, obviously, but we will be covering it in the future.
I have
King.
actually, I've got another chat going on. I've got Roberto and the gang in another chat, and they've just been saying that spoilers wouldn't bother them either. But obviously, we're a bit late to the party with WandaVision, I think. So we can still talk about kind of roughly where it's been going. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's an absolutely brilliant show.
Well, like I say, maybe we wait until it's finished and then we'll just do a thing.
Cool.
Now, just before we move on from the Stephen King thing as well, I just want to mention that at some point in time, the only one I want to see him make and do a good job of is The Dark Tower. I absolutely love those books. If you've not read them, the 7 books, maybe 8 now. I think he did an 8th. They are not like Stephen King as you know him. It's like his magnum opus. It's like his Lord of the Rings. It's beautifully done, but they did a really turdy film of it a couple of years ago. Yeah. And it's an epic book, and somehow they tried to cram this entire story of the first book into like an hour and a half film, and it sucks. But my feeling is if they did a series of it, like they did with Game of Thrones, and took the time with it, and just told the story, I think everybody in the world would want to watch it. It's a great story. So yeah, that's the one I want to see. So yeah, so multiverse into Spider-Man 3, into WandaVision potentially. Keep your eyes open for this new multiverse thing, the crossovers and things happening all over the place. And that's about it for the news, except that we're going to touch a little bit on the Gina Carano Star Wars story, just to tell you guys that we're not talking about this yet because we're not sure what to make of it.
It's still an evolving situation, like we said last week. But what we do know is that she is having her say on a show tomorrow.
So I think
the Ben Shapiro show. I mean, think of that what you will. I know I've got my opinions on Ben Shapiro, but I mean, one thing we can say is that she hasn't been cancelled because she's been given a platform to have her opinion. So we're going to watch that. We're going to see what she has to say, and then we're going to report back on it next week.
Yeah, I just remembered something that I didn't. I've just grabbed a picture for it. Right. Let me just put this up. It's not what you thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah.
I just remembered about it. Did you watch any of this? The Equalizer reboot?
Yeah. Why am I watching it? It's just been rebooted.
I love the 2 Denzel Washington movies. I thought they were so good.
Really good.
And then I watched this, and I was just like, nah. I'm sorry, but no. And I used to like the original series though with Edward Woodward.
I'm sure it'll find its audience because people do watch absolute fucking dross.
Did you actually watch the episode? Did you watch the episode?
What episode?
No, I just saw the trailer of it.
Right, the episode was put on YouTube.
Oh my god.
The episode was put on YouTube to watch the entire thing for free on the CBS. I think it was CBS. Or NBC or whatever the hell it were on. It was put on I watched it and I thought, do you know one of them things where you watch it and think, that was a coincidence. That was a coincidence. That was a coincidence. She's in the right place at the right time, like all the time. It's like, and then there's a load of fast cuts when she's fighting. You can't see what's going on because you kind of think, I don't know if I believe she's not a military trained person.
Stunt lady, stunt person.
I don't know, but I had to say something about it.
It looks pretty terrible, man. I mean.
But like you said, they only just redid the films. I don't know when Equalizer 2 came out with Denzel.
She rap in it. She used to be a rapper a long time ago, didn't she? The Queen Latifah, like she found a way to the movie world. And
no, there was no rapping in it. That'll be the Christmas special for you. There you go.
Equalize
the present. And also, they've got to mention that this is delayed again.
Son of a bitch. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this.
It's the film we're all waiting for. I'm sorry. I know. I nearly didn't do it this week. I nearly didn't do it because I know you guys are getting sick. But
I'm not getting sick of it. Bring it on. But what you're doing is you're actually making me want to watch this film.
I've told you we're going to be front and center watching this thing. I want a full report. Full report when it's out.
Why does Benjamin Bunny look so sad and everyone else is so happy in the back?
Oh, hang on. I've caused some controversy. So episode 1, it was okay.
Okay, is it? That's just saying it's okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
fine.
You know,
I'm not saying it was terrible. I'm just saying it was very. Do you agree that there was a lot of coincidence? Like she was stood at this fun fair bit, and she was like, "Oh, that girl needs help," and you're
Spoiler
like,
alert.
I was going to say,
sorry.
was suddenly the guy who didn't want spoiling anything.
Sorry about that unfair scene. Give it a bit of time. No.
Now what?
Yeah, lovely. In fact, that could be your segment each week. You come back and report back.
I just remember the best. I remember the best bit. I didn't want to go on about this, but I keep remembering really funny bits.
What's going on about it then?
I know. Sorry. Maybe I'll do my own show about the Equalizer.
Maybe you should tell us that funny bit because it's going to bug me otherwise. What's the funny bit?
Right. There's this at the start. I don't know if it's spoilers. Is it really spoiling it?
Who cares?
Right, basically, there's a girl working in a restaurant at the start of the episode, right? And she goes into the alleyway. She's on phone to her mum going, "Hey, I'm getting ready for my college interview. It's going to be great, blah, 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 blah." And you think, all right. She goes outside into the alleyway, and this guy runs towards her and goes, "Run!" And then he gets shot by this guy, right? And then she runs back into the diner and hides behind the counter, and these two gunmen go in to find her. And then police sirens are outside, and the guys go, "We haven't got time to find her." And it's literally this small diner. There's literally nowhere else she could be but behind the counter. They don't do all about it. Then they go to she gets taken by the police, right, who turn up super quick when they won't ever. The shooting just happened, the sirens are there. Anyway, but then they're at the police station and she's sat getting interrogated, saying what happened, blah, 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 blah. And she looks out of the window and they've got CCTV that somebody's doctored of her doing the shooting. And I'm like, how quickly did these guys... So they didn't have time to look behind the counter, but they had time to doctor the CCTV and make her the shooter. I was like, what? It was weird. Sorry, I just...
Did that go against her college application?
No, it all turned out all right in the end. Spoilers.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, well, thanks for spoiling that for me, Lummy.
Sorry.
Oof.
Standard 3
episode show. No, that is fair. That is fair because that is all the Marvel series that came out on Netflix. Some of them are a bit hit and miss, and generally you got round about episode 3 whether you're going to invest any more time in it or whether it was just one of those shows you're going to fall asleep to.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's only fair to give it 3 shows at least before you make your mind up. WandaVision's a perfect example of that because it's expecting Avengers on your TV screen and you put episode 1 on, it's so far away. You've got to wait, you've got to think about it, you've got to let it ruminate a bit, let it marinate. But I've just seen some exciting news popped up on the bottom there. Can you put that comment back up?
Yeah.
Paddington Bear 3's been green-lighted. That doesn't sound right. Greenlit.
Green-lighted.
It's been given the go-ahead. It's been given the go-ahead.
Man,
nice. That's great. I'm up for that. I love the first
Paddington. It was awesome.
I've only seen the second one.
Have you?
Do you know what I'd have loved to have seen? And I think Nathan and I were the only 2 people who liked it. And that was another Tintin film. That was awesome. It was brilliant. It was such a fast-paced, good film. It was brilliant.
It was the first proper 3D movie I saw in the cinema, and it was actually worthy of being in 3D. Because
have you seen the? Did you see the Christopher Robin film with Ewan McGregor?
Yes.
No, but it was on TV the other week. I saw it was on.
Oh.
I did. There were 2, weren't there? They did Goodbye Christopher Robin with Domhnall Gleeson, which was brilliant. I thought, but I like Winnie the Pooh. I'm in. If Winnie the Pooh's in it, I'm in. Stick him in anything. Stick him in Peter Rabbit too. I'm just gonna have a field day.
Peter Rabbit 2's adding cast by the minute. They're getting everybody's pulling out all the stops now. They've got that delay.
Well, yeah, make hay while the sun shines.
Well, you got
to remember the garden was just the beginning. I can't stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough.
I struggle though. That's starting to become a little bit, ominous. The garden was the beginning. I mean, was the garden a good thing?
Well, I think what it's saying is, I mean, it's kind of like saying prepare yourself. They're in the truck. They're going.
They've got a lot. They've got some spoils there. Did they get all that food from the garden? Did they get that from the garden?
Is the garden?
You haven't seen nothing yet, is what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying, really.
Yeah, no, but is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yes.
It's a great thing.
It's going to be... The garden is just a bit... You enjoyed Peter Rabbit 1. It was in the garden. This is... Forget the garden. Forget the
Are they
garden.
talking about my enjoyment, or are they talking about actually what's?
Yeah, man.
Or are they talking about the events that have happened to Peter Rabbit? So in the first one, I didn't see the first one. So what happened in the garden in the first one? Was it good things or bad things? If it was bad things, then it's like the garden was just the beginning. Wow, you should have seen what happened when he went into the field. There was fucking scarecrows and chainsaws and all sorts of combine harvesters.
Should have seen what happened.
Myxomatosis. It was just fucking awful.
Yeah, you should have seen what happened when they went to Libya.
Yeah.
Like the potential it's just infinite.
It's the multiverse of madness.
Yeah, imagine the Peter Rabbit multiverse.
Oh my god, yeah, that would be
where James Corden in doing the voice. Imagine that.
That's all the news, guys. I'm all news now.
There's a lot of news. That was a lot of news, though.
Going from having no news today.
It's already lots of news by the end of the day. Yeah, exactly.
What's the collective?
People are loving Peter Rabbit and Paddington here.
Nice, yes.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Or like a Reservoir Dogs remake with all of those characters in it. That'd be brilliant.
Comic book, actually.
Yeah.
A proper decent independent graphic novel type thing. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Where Peter Rabbit fucks shit up. Well, last week I charged Nathan and Lummy with picking their best. I did. Just for being my friend. Oh, dear. And thank you very, very much for that. I went and bought lots of pizza. I charged them last week with the task of picking their best and worst James Bond films. Now, I know Lummy's been desperate to talk about Bond for ages, so I just think we should keep him waiting a bit longer. Webby, what's your best Bond film?
My best Bond film is Live and Let Die.
Ooh. Oh.
Not only is it my best Bond film, it's actually my best Bond song as well, and it's my only decent. I love the Beatles. You guys know that about me. I'm a massive Beatles fan. Not so much with the solo projects, but it's the only, for me, palatable. Maybe the Frog song.
I was just going to say the Frog chorus.
We're both ready to pounce on you then.
Yeah, all right. The Frog chorus. It's my favourite Paul McCartney solo song as well. I think it's a belting song.
That doesn't involve a frog.
Now, Live and Let Die it's got a couple of interesting things about it. It's 1973. It's Roger Moore's first Bond film, so just taken over from Sean Connery.
I'm going to have to do some stat searching.
Talk. Massively, heavily influenced by the blaxploitation flicks of the 70s. So Foxy Brown and Shaft and all those things. It's like they just tapped into this little, just for one movie. And also there's no, like, the bad guy in it is not a massive supervillain. He's a drug dealer. He's a worldwide drug dealer. He just wants to move heroin around the world. He's not living it large like Blofeld and stuff. He's just, what's he called?
He has got an underground lair, though.
Yeah, of course he has, but it's a modest one compared to
It's just got a little pool with a shack, one shack.
One shack. And so, but also it's got really cool things in it. It's got the voodoo element. There's a bit where they go to. Yes, the blaxploitation thing keeps coming up because basically anywhere that was a hit for blaxploitation movies or black culture in the 70s, this movie visits it. It goes to Harlem. It literally goes to Harlem. It goes to New Orleans, Louisiana, and it goes to the Caribbean as well. So they were on this sort of trip. It's got the first black Bond girl in it as well. It's quite groundbreaking for its time. But also, I mean, the reason I love it so much is there's a bit, spoiler alert, there's a bit where Bond gets captured at the bad guy's henchman. He's got this farm. It's a crocodile farm in Louisiana. And to escape, he runs across the backs of the crocodiles, man. And
it's awful.
It's
not awful. It's great.
Awful.
It's amazing. And a guy gets his arm eaten, doesn't he? Is that right? Am I got that? Is that a wrong movie? Am I thinking of
Indiana Jones, aren't you?
Yeah, his arm eaten. But no, it is great, that bit, because
the movies,
they did it. They had to do
all sorts of. I mean, even the way the bad guy dies is just totally unique and unusual. Bond gives him a gas pellet that's meant for a shark gun, and it's Yaphet Kotto. Yaphet Kotto, guy, he's from Alien. He was an alien. He's a great actor, actually. He's pretty cool. And he gives him this, he forces that pill, the gas pellet in his mouth. And the guy literally plays like the blueberry kid in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Chocolate Fudge.
It's nuts. It's just a nuts little film. And it's got it's got the Louisiana, what's the sheriff called, Lummy? Sheriff? Buford. Something or other. It's got a proper southern name.
But is it? It's not Pepper. Oh, am I thinking of Pepper? J.J. Pepper. Is that the name of the guy?
It might be.
Yeah,
I might be wrong.
Yeah, he teams up at one point for a little bit with the Louisiana cop who's totally nuts.
Is it? I need to know what it's called now.
If you're going to give me an old classic Bond, this one hits all the notes for me. You know, for me, personally speaking, I struggled with. I have to distinguish myself between the new ones with Daniel Craig and the old ones, because since the Bourne Identity came out and the Bond people went, let's just make it a bit more like that because it looks better than ours. I find it, I got to separate them. I didn't pick any of the new ones. I just thought, I'm going to go classic Bond, and Live and Let Die hits most of the right notes. This brings me on to, I got this book out earlier, right? That book, Webb, you need to read it if you love Live and Let Die. It's The Making of Live and Let Die, Roger Moore's diary. Brilliant, really good. Tells you all about the locations, what they did there, all that stuff. Really good read. Not very long either, so it's pretty easy to pick up. It's really smart when you finish it.
Oh, it's great. I love my makings of, as you know, but it's superb. Highly recommended.
I didn't know he was a famous author as well as a shithawk.
Oh, he's got loads of books out.
I didn't know also that
he
was actually older than Sean Connery, wasn't he, by like 3 years? Is that right?
No.
He's older than him, isn't he?
No. Well, they're both dead now, so
stuff today, but yeah, they're both dead. It's not a race, is it, Lummy?
No,
it is a competition.
I'm sure he was. No, Sean Connery were older, surely.
Sure, I read that he was 3 years older.
We should do some fact checking before
I'll tell you what. While Nathan tells us what his worst Bond film was, I will find that out for you.
All right. Can you find out what the name of the sheriff were called as well?
Yeah, Nathan. What was your worst Bond movie?
My worst Bond is Never Say Never Again. Now,
there he is.
I don't have quite as much detail because, funnily enough, I don't stick my shittest films on all the time to watch it. If I don't like them, I generally don't watch them again and again. But
do you not watch them going, oh?
I just remember this being a massive stinker, and Sean Connery came out of retirement, said he'd never play Bond again, which is where the title sort of came from, Never Say Never Again. Very clever. And he came out of retirement to do it when he was in his 50s, and it's just a bit shit. From what I remember, there's not much. There's not many memorable moments in it. I'm sorry if you disagree. I don't care.
I don't disagree. Do you know the story of this though? Why they made it?
No, please help me out, because I had all that information about Live and Let Die, and then I've dried up.
Right, so Never Say Never Again, it was an unofficial Bond movie, right? And what happened was that it's actually Thunderball. It's a remake of Thunderball. Now, Thunderball was joint owned by the ones who did the official Bonds and some other person. I don't know the full details, obviously, without looking at it all. But they had a rights argument over Thunderball. So this guy retained the rights to remake Thunderball whenever he wanted, and he went and remade it with Sean Connery. That's what Never Say Never Again was.
So it's not got Cubby Broccoli and all them people.
No, it's not an official. That's why it's not an official.
Why somehow I know I knew it didn't feel right, because there's another one, and they did a Casino Royale as well in the 60s.
Yeah.
And it's
David Niven,
and it's not quite a Bond film, and it's again, you can feel that absence, that it doesn't really belong in the franchise at all, and strange. Yeah,
well, that's why they made Casino Royale so late on, because they got the rights back for it. That's why they could make it then with Daniel Craig.
Using hot off the press, gents. Using hot off the press. So, it was Sheriff V.W. Pepper, played by Clifton James, and Sean Connery was born in 1930. Roger Moore was born in 1927.
In your face.
Roger Moore was 3 years older. There we go, Daniel. There we go. Look at that. Thanks, Dan.
You see that with me? Look,
I know. I honestly didn't know that. So I apologise. You're right, Webb.
I apologise to the internet for
MGM and Sony. We're getting all the facts here that I didn't look.
This is great, though. This is what we're talking about. It's about all of us just plugging in together.
We're dead.
Exactly.
I'm just spoiling everybody's night tonight.
Oh my God! I know.
Jesus, you can't help yourself.
3 years younger.
Yeah, man. There you go. Isn't that weird? So...
we got. Oh, hang on. We've got. I'll save that comment there because somebody's put the best and the worst. We'll have a look in that.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Before we move on to whoever's next, what's the theme tune for Never Say Never Again? Because some of them don't have the title in the song.
It goes never, never, never say never again. That's it.
Really?
And it's got lyrics, but I don't know it yet. It's crap. And there's no gun barrel. There's no gun barrel.
We have all the time in the world, and nobody does it better. Which does have the words "The Spy Who Loved Me" in it, but it is not the name of the song. So they did use songs that were like "We Have All the Time in the World." What was that one from? Can you remember?
It was on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah. So it's just interesting that sometimes they could deliberately make a thing of the title being in the song, Thunderball and bloody.
I mean, you try fitting the lyrics on Her Majesty's Secret Service into a song. With Shirley Bassey, we're on Her Majesty's Secret Service. That's a trumpet. I don't know music. I don't know instruments. That's a trumpet.
No, but you keep trying to shove things in your mouth tonight. What's going on with you, mate?
Oh, Terry, get your man in check.
I mean, I'm not here to judge. If anything, I'm proud of you, Lummy. I'm proud.
I'm surprised, but
if I could play trumpet, I'd play
trump. Well, Webby, is that you done with your best and worst Bonds?
Me, man. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to head over to our Bond expert, Mr. Lombond. Chris, what is your best James Bond film?
I'd just like to say I'm not an expert. I never claimed to be an expert. I just like him.
You've got Roger Moore's fucking diary from Live and Let Die on the set.
I've got other diaries from films. It's not just that one.
Bond films.
No, they're not.
No. But you know which songs go with. How many Bond films were there?
25 with new one, I think.
And Nathan just said, "Oh, what song went with that?" And you were like, "Oh, straight away, it's Manchester Secret Service." Oh, I'm not an expert. Oh yeah. I don't know. Who's older, out of Connery and Roger Moore. I'm just going to let that slip now, just so that nobody
I got that wrong.
About being an expert.
If I was an expert, I would have known that, and I'd have gone.
You're not an expert. You are not an expert. Get over yourself. How about that?
That's better. That's more like it. There you go. Bring me back down to earth.
All right, yeah. So we're going over now to the guy who knows fuck all about James Bond, Chris Lum. What was your feather lads? What's your favourite Bond film ever?
My favourite Bond film. I was between two, but I picked this one. I've gone for Roger Moore as well. The Spy Who Loved Me.
This was a close contender for me as well.
Yeah, I absolutely adore this film. It's so good. You've got so many elements. You've got best bad guy Jaws, his first appearance in there.
Yeah.
You've got the underwater car. I love that car. I've got the car. Hang on.
It's a Lotus, isn't it?
Here we go. Got me Lotus Esprit. There you go. Love that. You've got Bond girl Barbara Bach, brilliant, and also double agent. You've got all that going on there. You've got the villain in his underwater lair. Stromberg.
Man, great theme
tune, and
nobody does it better. Beautiful song.
Yeah, you've also got the start with the parachute off the Alps.
Yes.
Yeah, that is cool. That is really cool.
Man, that's why it was my second. It was my second.
Yeah, I do also love the Living Daylights as well for the reasons that it's a classic Bond, and also it's got all the elements. It's got a really good score as well by John Barry. The only thing that lets The Spy Who Loved Me down, I think, is the score. The music's not great for the film. The actual score music. The song's great, but the score music isn't spot on. Well, the Living Daylights has got a brilliant score.
Forget about the James Bond score as well. That it ain't just the chase music. We're not going to get sued for that. Is that a close enough?
No, I think you're all right with that. I think you're all right with that.
Shirley Bassey's pissed off though with us. It's like, hey, you fuckers. I always thought they should have Shirley Bassey like just do all the Bond songs, but then she actually released an album of doing the other Bond songs, and I'm like, nah, it's probably best they didn't.
Okay, I like that they mix it up, man. I like that they mix it up. You never know what you're going to get, and sometimes they're genuine. And I mean, one of my favorites is from a film I don't even like, License to Kill.
Yeah.
Tune for that because it was out when I was a kid, and best song, yeah.
Living Daylights. That is, I mean, yeah. There's some really good songs in the best. Some really good. Living Daylights is awesome. The song and everything. That's why it was a close second. But I had to. My favorite Bond is Roger Moore, so I had to pick Roger Moore.
I was just about to ask, right, because I know you're a fan of Connery as well. I'm not so much. In fact, the only Connery one I really like is the first one, Dr. No. I really like that one. I don't know why.
Believe it or not, I'm not a big fan of Connery. Sean Connery, Bond. I'm not.
Okay.
He's actually down my list. I'd go Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Brosnan, and then... I don't know. Even Lazenby's good, I like him. He does a good job.
He was only in one. He's really good.
Yeah. Gets tricky then. Yeah.
No Bob Holness. I mean, Bob Holness has got to be up there as the top, surely.
For you, yeah.
What's your worst, Lum?
What's your worst Bond film?
I forgot. I was talking about the good ones so much. I forgot where to. Worst one, right? Here you go. I had again. There were a close second here as well, but I've gone for Skyfall.
Yeah, that was between the one I chose.
Right.
And
this film, everybody were going, it's amazing. I quite like the song, the Adele song. Quite like that.
Yeah,
that were all right. Right, not a bad song. But the actual film, I think the first half of the film isn't too bad. As soon as he goes, I'm going to take you to Scotland and make sure you don't get killed. Judi Dench as you like, spoilers. It's just crap, the whole thing. It just falls to bits. And like we've talked about many a times, and loads of people say this, it's like an adult version of Home Alone.
Home Alone, which you expect to be amazing. You expect like an adult version of Home Alone. Bring it on. I would love to watch that. But it's just such a shit film. It just doesn't work on so many levels. It's awful. It's awful. I'm not a big fan of Daniel Craig as Bond. I think all the Daniel Craig films have been a bit shit. They're just not. Grabbed my interest like the others have.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Casino Royale. I've got to say, I thought they brought it back, after a bit of a hiatus, and then I thought that film was great, and I liked him as Bond. But I think as they've gone on, he's kind of lost the character a bit somehow. I don't know, maybe it's the director or something. But
I think it is. I don't think it's his doing. I think it's that they have to write Bond differently than they used to. Look, just saying that we just accept in the Live and Let Die and all the sexist, racist comments and stuff. And now they can't write it like that anymore, so it doesn't feel like the same Bond. My only objection to, I think that Daniel Craig was treated unfairly before he even got the role, because when they announced him, and then people are like, "No, he's not my Bond. He's blonde. You can't have a blonde James Bond." I'm like, give the guy a fucking chance, man. Like, see the movie first, and then we'll rip it to bits. I really didn't think it were. Casino Royale is particularly good, but I don't think any of them have been terrible.
The thing for me with the Skyfall thing is, he takes M away, saying I'll protect her, and then he gets her killed, and I'm like, where's the repercussions for that? Because then he goes back and like everybody's like, never mind, Bond. You just got the head of the the department killed, but go stand on top of a building and look a bit sad.
That's again, that points out to me what's different about it is that if it was Sean Connery doing the same thing and he got Judi Dench killed, he'd have probably made some pithy comment. It'd have made
exactly. We've got a bit of
or at least
disagree on Brosnan. I'd disagree on Brosnan. Dalton wins it for me. Yeah, fair enough.
Brosnan is Brosnan, but he happens to be. I think he's a decent Bond.
We'll talk about that in a minute, won't we? Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Hang on. This is a good question. We'll say that, shall we, till the end as well?
Yeah, we'll leave that till the end. Let's
we'll deal with that in a minute. Let's get to the end of this though. So yeah, that's it for me. Skyfall. He gets her killed. There's also that bit where they've got the flashlights and they're running away and they're going like that all over the field. It's like you're supposed to be hiding from the bad guy. Oh, he's so.
You a spy, dude?
Oh, he's so
yeah.
stupid. Oh.
With fucking
and
semaphore. Just
there's loads of stupid shit in it. There's a bit where the bad guy escapes from the maximum security cell that happens to have a manhole inside the room. It's like, do you want this manhole putting in high security room? Yeah, I think we better have one.
Yeah,
just in case we need to get in here for maintenance.
Where's the drainage gonna go?
Yeah, a room with nothing in it. Yeah, we need a manhole there.
Yeah, man. Bond is obviously a hotter topic than we thought, so maybe we should.
Surf dude.
Hey up, surf dude with attitude. How the heck are you? Nice to see you.
Break from your surfing and
yeah, man. So my best Bond film is GoldenEye because I think Brosnan, along with Moore, is probably the best Bond. I think he probably portrayed the character closest to the one in the books. But GoldenEye was great. It seemed to me that it was just a massive revolution of the Bond films while still maintaining the truth from the books. And it was brilliant. Alex Trevelyan, the bad guy. It spawned for best Bond computer game. It's just brilliant. It's a really, really good film.
It's a good shout. It's a good shout, man.
It is, yeah. It's a good.
I remember going to see this when it
with Bond, aren't you? That it's a Bond film. That's what. Miss about the new one.
Yeah.
But he plays the perfect. He plays the perfect sort of. He has the perfect balance of being an absolute fucking horrible snob, a misogynist, just a proper prick. But you can't help but love him because he's cool. Yeah, because he's cool. He's a cool Bond.
You're getting a lot of love for GoldenEye.
Oh, look at that!
There you go.
Compared to last week,
you're right though. It is tricky to pick, to pick a best one out of these because there is. I think every Bond has a good film, don't they? Really.
I think that's the point. Is that it changes with the decades and it tries to move with the times. So ones are actually a little bit less sexist, tiny bit less sexist than the 80s ones, which are a little bit worse, and it goes back like that. If you go right back to the beginning, like, wow, this is like, you just could not make this film these days.
I just think that Brosnan has that sneer. The films are less sexist, but I think he still manages to carry on that attitude with just the way he sneers when he speaks to women. I think not that I like that as a quality in people or anything, but in the Bond character, it works really well.
I think that if Bond was a real person, I would not want to fucking know the guy. He sounds like an arsehole. You need an actor.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're absolutely right, Terry.
And GoldenEye is a great game. That was my pretty much introduction into shooter games, was that. And we've come a long way since then, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's part of the point is that Bond is meant to be an arsehole. Is meant to be is meant to be a drink. And so when you take all that away from him, what are you left with? And that's why the Daniel Craig ones feel a little bit empty.
I agree. Yeah, completely. And my worst one, and this might be controversial, is Goldfinger. And it's only because, the plot is a bit thin, right? To bring down the price of gold by polluting the gold reserves in Fort Knox to help out China. I mean, it's a bit thin. But the only thing I can really remember about that film is when they're flying over Fort Knox in this plane and they drop a load of gas, and there's all these soldiers that are sort of stood there in formation, and they all just collapse at exactly the same time in exactly the same way. It's just really weird. It's just it's just bizarre.
When I think about it, it's got one of the weaker bad guys, very, very famous bad guy.
Yeah. He wouldn't take on Bond physically or mentally.
I don't mean his Blofeld, I don't mean Blofeld. I mean his henchman. I mean Oddjob.
Oh, Oddjob, right? Yeah.
Why are you not
a razor around the rim of his hat? I mean,
why are you having to go at Oddjob? I thought he were a good one. Look at him there.
No, I don't think he is, because how often is that going to? You're going to have to be very precise when you're throwing it to kill someone.
He is precise. You know what he's doing.
There's more truth to that character. What you should do is when he gets introduced, he goes, "Hi, my name's Oddjob." He's actually got a load of plasters on his fingers, because every time it's a stupid place to put a razor.
Careful, he holds it like that. Look, he misses the rim of the hat. You know, he's practiced.
I mean, what an odd job. It really is. Like, that is a very specific type of assassin.
It
You know
is.
what I mean?
But I also
we need
wasn't a
guy
big fan
who
of
shoots somebody
Connery.
600 feet away with a sniper rifle. No, we need a guy who can throw a hat at a person that's in the same
Yeah.
room as us.
We need a guy who's really good at frisbee, but happens to have a very sharp hat, rimmed hat, and it's called Odd Job. Yeah, it's a weird
Not
name.
get it done.
Yeah,
But,
no, absolutely.
the point is, you're in a room full of people. You need somebody assassinating. Odd Job takes his hat off, throws his hat, it decapitates somebody, and everybody in the room turns around and looks at the guy who hasn't got his hat on anymore. I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Because where's your top hat gone? It's
Yeah,
pretty fucking obvious.
yeah.
You know, you assassinate people where everybody's wearing a top hat, then, don't you? You go into a room and go,
Only the fanciest parties.
yeah. But then they still be the guy without a top.
Without the hat, that's the
They'll
whole
be the
point.
guy-
Yeah, exactly.
There was a boomerang.
That's actually even more obvious.
Yeah, if he was like Michael Jackson, it could just go and the hat come and wear the hat again. It'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, he should have had a boomerang hat so it slices and then comes back.
Even that didn't work because when he boomerangs his hat back to himself,
He cuts his own head off.
No,
Yeah. You might be right. It might be the worst.
Not my favourite Bond film. Okay, so whose was what?
The golden lady on the bed where they discover her? I think that's really creepy and really cool.
Yeah.
That's quite cool.
She'll eat in it.
So going back to those questions that we had, Lummy, about favourite Bond line, mine is the Nothing to Declare when they're going down the ski slope in the cello case. And
That's
the
a nice
really
one.
expensive.
Yeah,
I like that. I like
And
that
mine
line.
has got to be the Pierce Brosnan one. I forget which film is the. She's always been a cunning linguist.
Cunning linguist, yes, of course.
I mean, that's just it's just brilliant.
Yeah. I've got what about the Timothy Dalton one in Start of Living Daylights where it says Bond here reporting in an hour and the lady says, won't you join me? And he goes, better make that 2. Or the other one where in my favourite in Spy Who Loved Me at the end where he says, Bond, what are you doing when they're in the submarine together? And he goes, keeping the British end up, sir.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on.
That's terrible.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, Bond telling dad jokes. Who knew? But no, he's good at them. He really is. It's every so often.
You can make an innuendo with Roger Moore as well, can't you?
I mean, that is the pinnacle, is Roger Moore doing it for me. He's just a genius at it.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in the hole. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or was that an actual line, or was that you, mate?
Just can do anything with it. That's one to stick in the drawer. You know, it does it. You know, works with anything.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Who knew?
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's our best and worst this week. And do we have a guest in the waiting room, Lummy?
We do have a guest in the waiting room.
Well,
yes. Waiting patiently. He's been listening to all our rubbish for half an hour.
Oh, gosh, God. Comes on our show and then has to hear us talk twaddle for ages. Ladies and gents, it's an absolute privilege and a pleasure to welcome to the show this week a registered stunt fighter, somebody who's going to be appearing in some Marvel films. Please give it up for Mr. Xavi Monreal.
Hey!
Hello, guys. Hello,
Xavi.
everybody.
Hello.
How the heck are you, Xavi? Thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
Yeah, I've been following you guys. Quite good. Very funny. You made me laugh a lot.
Oh, bless you. Thank you very much. I mean, you don't have to say that, but we do appreciate it. Thank
I
you
feel
very
like
much.
it. Yeah, it was nice to follow you. Yeah.
So, I mean, let's start at the beginning, Xavi. So, you're a Spanish guy. Where are you from?
From Barcelona.
Spain. Spain.
I was say Catalan from Barcelona.
And yes, of course, yes. So that's where you were born. And tell us about your life, sort of growing up as a geek. What was your favourite toy when you were growing up as a geek? What sort of geeky shit were you into?
I had a small Spider-Man toy, you know. Well, I mean, I'm talking about the 70s, which was quite, you know, one of the ones they move like really minimal. But it was a Spider-Man, you know, really crappy one, but I really love it. I remember even it was just without clothes. He was just wearing clothes, and it was just really creepy at the end, and I still want it.
It's funny, isn't it, how like your favorite toys really stick with you throughout your life, the toy that you love the most.
I remember my mom saying, just throw that. I said, Mom, no, he had only half of the Spider-Man clothes, you know, like.
and you are into, sorry? What was that, Nate?
I'm just saying, his mum making him throw his favourite toy. It's been my favourite toy. I'm not throwing it away. No.
I remember getting home one day, and I used to have loads of sort of Star Wars, loads of He-Man, loads of Transformers, and I got home from school one day, and they were all gone.
His mum had given to all the friends he'd nicked.
Yeah, Xavi, that's a... So yeah, when I was a kid, I used to steal toys from my friends. Once, it happened once.
I know.
No, my mum gave all my toys to a friend who was a teacher at a school, so that the kids could have them at school. And I was like, did any of you go to a school where they had like Transformers and He-Man toys and stuff like that? I was just,
No.
kids,
No.
lucky little bastards.
Very proud. You have to keep your toys hidden in your desk, man. Like, it's showing them. Look. But
I never took mine to school because people just nick them, like Rich.
Just about steal them
Yeah.
from you. Yeah, totally. Especially in my school.
And what sort of films and comics and things like that were you into growing up? Because I know Xavi and I have shared a dressing room on many an occasion doing shows. We've been actors together.
Hey, what you doing in your private time's up to you guys. There's no judging here.
And I've noticed that Xavi quite a few times on his iPad with sort of comic strips and things like that. What comics are you into, Xavi?
I got a big collection in Barcelona. I must have about 3,000 comics there.
Wow.
And
Look at Nathan's little face. Look at Nathan's face. Nathan's got a big comic collection as well.
Yeah, man.
I got the black and white Spider-Man first collection, and then it came after in color. And then I got the full X-Men, Avengers. And then my brother was into Superman and all DC comics. I was more Marvel guy. But basically Spider-Man and the X-Men were my first,
Yeah, man. Me too.
Wow.
Me too. Definitely Spider-Man. X-Men, man. When the cartoon came out in the early 90s, I was just on the cusp, of not actually technically being able to watch cartoons anymore. But I couldn't resist the X-Men in the early 90s. Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
And so growing up in Spain, because you're a performer, when did you first get interested in performing, and what were you interested in first? Because I know that you've done martial arts as a kid, and that you play guitar, and that you're a street dancer and things like that. What kind of came first in the narrative of Xavi's life?
I was first on martial arts as very young, with 11 years old, and then I started in competitions very soon, and I started to be in national teams, and
Was that karate?
in karate, yeah. And then after
You're a black belt now, aren't you?
black belt, yeah. And then after a few years, I started to do kickboxing, and I became semi-professional in kickboxing, and that was for about 13 years. And then in 1 year, they broke my nose twice.
Right. Yeah, they broke your nose. Yeah.
And then basically the doctors told me to stop fighting for 2 years, just to get the nose back, or then they had to take the bone. I said, so then I stopped competitions, which I was doing for about 10, 12 years, so it was like part of me. And then
so how old were you when you had to stop?
About 24 or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Or maybe a little bit less. And then I started more of the artistic side of the martial arts, just to do exhibitions, the katas, the forms. And then in kickboxing, I just keep training, just, punch in the back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at the same time I was dancing, I used to go to the underground, make a dress with my gang to do break dance and all the popping and all the waving and all of that back in the 80s, late 70s.
And this is all still back in Barcelona?
That was in Barcelona then, yeah. And then so when I start to do competitions in martial arts is when I start more the performing side of all of that. Then people start to... I went to sports university, which I did 2 years of physical theater. And then is when I started to do stage combat there. We had stage combat. And then I realized, like, oh my God, I can use all my martial arts training.
Yeah. What was the stage combat training like in Spain?
I mean, it was quite basic. And I remember that at the end I was teaching the sword.
Right, gotcha. Yeah.
It was basically more like... a basic stage combat, basic rules, and then a lot of fists, a lot of fallings, a little bit of weapons,
Yeah.
And then after all the other physical part, like all the theater, it was like making animals and all of these kind of things.
Is anybody else feeling like they've squandered their fucking life?
I do now.
That's too much stuff.
Yeah, I do now. Yeah.
And how old are you at this point, Xavi, when you're starting to first play around with stage combat as were you being taught stage combat? How old were you then?
I did a few shows in Spain, no big things, because it's not like the massive job like here in UK, guys. That's what I came here.
Yeah.
And but yeah, about my 26, 27, I was sponsored by Nike by then, so they used to dress me up, and then I used to do a lot of shows for them.
Was this for your dance stuff or for
dance? And then I started to use the martial arts as well, doing some combat sometimes in some of the shows, or like fighting swords or things like that. And then basically it's until I came to UK when I started to do a proper, fighting work, stunt work, or more special action skills. Because you say I'm a stunt registered, I'm not a stunt registered. I'm just a special action skill guy.
Sorry, yes, of course, so yes. What's the difference between that?
I mean, cinema was talking is the extras. There is the special action skills, and then there's the stunt registered. So special action skills is basically. Like me, I don't have all the categories to become a stunt. I don't have driving, for example, but I think I got 4 or 5 of the categories.
And how many are there that you would need to fulfill to be on this?
I think now this is it keeps changing with the years. But I think it's 6 or 7.
Things like being on fire and all that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, all of this. So basically, martial arts, acrobatics. And what else? Horsing and all of that, driving and jumping, fallings, and then jumping from the what is called swimming jumping. That they jump from the high, and so I don't have the swimming and I don't have the driving. And then I said, and when I said, let me see if I can train, but it was too much that I had to do, so I keep just doing this. I mean, from that I'm 53 years old, so. Still I got it. Still.
No, you definitely have, because actually you got on the special action skills register quite recently, didn't you? It wasn't that long ago. How long ago was it that you got on there? Well, how long was it you started working with the special action skills?
Oh, in 2007, 2008, more or less.
Yeah.
I started to do my first jobs, proper jobs. I mean. You're talking about proper jobs, not like small shows. And I've been doing small shows for a long time, but proper jobs in 2007, it was actually in the Royal Opera House, my first. And then by then I was dancing. So I was dancing as a professional dancer. I was in MTV, Blue Peter, Extreme Makeover.
Wow. Did you get a Blue Peter badge? Did they give you a Blue Peter badge? What did that mean to you when they...
Can you get in places for free with a Blue Peter badge? You can't you?
Yeah, well, actually, I didn't know until like a few years ago. I had it there because everybody, my God, you got a badge. But when I did Blue Peter, I mean, it was my first years in London. I didn't even know that Blue Peter was that big. I said, yeah, I'm in this program, Blue Peter or something like that. And then an English guy was like, are you in Blue Peter, man?
Yeah. That little badge can get you in all sorts of places. I'm just surprised that you didn't you found out the badge can get you in places, so you kick down the door to the Ivy, and you're like, right, I'm coming in, guys. I'm by the window right now. It's not to get you in everywhere, man.
She's into Blue Peter now, and then the other day, she, Papa, look at this badge. I said, I got one of these badges. I said, you have one of these badges, Papa? Wow. And then she told me that we could go for free. I'm like, oh my God, all these years have it there in my...
Yeah.
Well, wow. What you should do, Xavi, is you should go to the museum or whatever, take whatever you want off the wall, like the artwork, just take it and say, this is good. I've had this for years, and I'm just catching up on what you owe me.
Yeah. I've never used it, so yeah, I'm collecting my debts.
About 10 years, about 12 years here in my drawer.
We'll have that one, Laughing Cavalier. That's mine.
I've just done a quick Google, right, and I just typed in where can I get him free with a Blue Peter badge. It came up straight away. You can get, there's all sorts. There's absolutely loads of
places, museums and discounts in. I think it's Alton Towers, all these places.
There's loads. There's loads of places.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Who
yeah.
thought you'd come on here to talk about your stunt and fight work, and we end up talking about having a Blue Peter badge?
And also,
the thing that we're so impressed with.
and also,
how many special action skills got a blue badge? Let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
How
exactly.
it is the coolest thing ever to have a Blue Peter badge, but to find out that you've only just found out you can use it everywhere, and now we're in lockdown, you've got this like magic pass. To actually bloody use it.
I'm good with that now, yeah.
Sat there, just fucking, growling at you for a draw.
I got a question for you, Xavi, if that's all right.
Yeah. Go
I'm
on.
just wondering, I was thinking earlier on about being a dad myself. Like, have you ever looked at a stunt or a piece of work and thought, nah, that's too much for me, that's too hairy, I don't want to break a limb or I don't want to hurt myself, I've got to get back home to my family? Has there ever been anything you've been scared of doing?
Yeah, has being a father changed your outlook on what you're willing to do in terms of dangerous work?
I haven't changed.
No.
I mean, I've been in a few films, in something that we can talk later on, and whatever I've been asked, I did it. They asked me to jump. I mean, what I stopped to do a few years ago is acrobatics. Obviously, I don't want to do somersaults or jumping off the tables, somersaults. I can still do jumps, a lot of martial arts, but obviously, I just want to keep doing as much as I can without getting injured.
Yeah.
But I never said no to anything dangerous. I mean, I love it. I've been doing bungee, jumping from bridges, and I mean with a rope. Yeah, with a rope.
Yeah.
Not that crazy.
Cool.
I love all these kind of things. I've been going down the rivers, just with the little clothes and jumping and all of that. So I love all these kinds. I've been doing paragliding and parachuting.
Wow.
Have you got like a phobia? Is it like scared of heights or anything like that? Is there anything
Have you got anything you can say that make us feel better about being men?
Yeah.
Like spiders, snakes, like
something like that. Ladders.
Yeah,
shopping bags. Oh, I don't like shopping bags. Something like that.
Well, it's scary being a dad. That's very scary. Is
there anything that does scare you though?
As a thing to do, or
spiders, like they said, or anything
like spiders. Actually, I pick them up in my house and put them outside. I don't smash them.
I'm exactly the same. But it's just sometimes the biggest, strongest people can have the most irrational phobias.
I don't know, snakes, for example. I mean, I remember having a photo shoot in Barcelona, and they asked me, "Do you mind to have I don't know, it was a python or something like one of these one massive?" I said, "Yeah." Then when I had it, I'm like,
we've got
Indiana Jones. You hate snakes.
We've got a few questions here. Do you want me to wait till end, or do you want
let's go for it.
So we've got a question here from Terry. Would you bungee from the GoldenEye dams? But that's a question for all of us.
I would.
Okay, so have you seen GoldenEye, Xavi?
Yeah, the film.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the film, there's that famous scene where they bungee from the dam. Would you do that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would not.
I wou't either. I'm not gonna lie. I won't. It was on the TV show with Bradley Walsh. Him and his son went to do it, and his son did it, but he won't do it, Bradley Walsh. But they show it out there, getting out, and like, I can't do with heights. Me, I'm terrible.
Well, I am gonna lie. I am gonna lie. I did it. I've already done it.
You were the stuntman in GoldenEye. You did it. Yeah.
Easy peasy. I don't know what the big deal is.
So, Xavi, would that be something where you won't have a problem at all? You just go, yeah, this is...
Jumping and doing anything, it requires adrenaline. I just love it.
Wow.
Just remember going, for example, when I was doing boxing and kickboxing, going to the ring and don't knowing the other... Well, I knew the other guy because you know who you're fighting, you check the video.
Yeah.
This kind of adrenaline is good.
See, I enjoy all that. I just had these guys, we were in a show together when we were younger, and I had to get hung from some scaffolding. And one night the harness snapped, and I got hung. The rope was supposed to give way, the noose, and it didn't. I got hung 30 feet in the air. And since having something that should have been the safety thing sort of let me down, it's always made me a little bit So anytime we've ever had to do any flying work at the Opera House or anything like that together, I've just always been really anxious about any harness work because and also, they hurt. They really hurt.
Yeah.
As well.
If you have one of these, I had as well some of these missings, and it is painful.
It did break and it did hang, and you could have hung. But if it were me, I would have hung to death in the middle of that show. You fucking pulled yourself back up by the rope. That is just outstanding. Like, how the hell?
Again, it's the adrenaline. It's adrenaline. I couldn't, because when I came down, I was kind of all right, and it was everyone else that was freaking out. And it wasn't until later on when I read it on CFAX. Do you remember CFAX? There was a report about it on CFAX. It's really weird. So how did you get into actually working professionally over in this country? Because you must have come over here from Spain. I know you've got a background of having professional work as a performer and being sponsored by Nike and things like that. But obviously, coming to over here, the industry is huge. How did you start making a name for yourself and get a foot in the door?
I think it was just year by year. I came just for 1 year here to take some classes, and then I stay another 1, 2, and then another 1, 3. Then I started.
And what sort of classes were you taking? Were they sort of
dancing,
Pineapple and things like that?
It was dancing, Pineapple, Dance Wars, and all of that. Then I started to teach at Pineapple as well, and
which is where we met for the first time.
Exactly. And then I started to send my CVs to agencies and have some agents for all the dancing work. And then, in the curriculum, we put other skills. And then is where I put all my martial arts, stage combat, and all of that. And then, one day, one of my agents called me and said, "Oh, you can do SWAT and all of these things." No, I said, yeah. There's opera, they need fighters and blah, blah, blah. So it's when I went to do AIDA.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, that was the David Vicker production.
We've got a question here. Let's just put this up. There you go. Do you know what this is? Do you know what reference this is to? Obviously.
Of course. Yeah.
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
That's it. My name is Inigo Montoya. It's from
Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Also,
if you've never seen it, Xavi, it's got some beautiful fencing in that film. Some amazing sword fights.
This is a lovely quote, Xavi. I want to see Xavi in a Big Lebowski sequel. He looks awesome. I see him as the dude's brother. That's a nice thing.
That's the most complimentary thing I've ever heard, I think.
I do think Xavi and the dude would get on very well, actually. They like a rug that holds the room together.
I had a question, Xavi, about the link between your love for Marvel growing up and the feeling you must have got when you ended up working. I don't quite know that much of the background of that. You're part of the Marvel Stunt team, is that right?
I did a number film now last year, the Eternals.
Oh, the Eternals.
The Eternals, yeah.
I mean the Eternals. So I cannot say the character I'm playing.
Right, okay.
But
you can tell us the spoilers at the end of the... No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm fighting there, and then I mean, it was a massive experience. I could meet some of the artists, Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, and they're just great, and seeing Angelina Jolie working is.
Okay, so your agent got in touch with you and said, so did you have to audition for it, or were you working with a group of people?
No, they called me first for look and for CV, and then I had to send some videos fighting, and then I had to do audition after, even that. They called for audition, and then they called me back. I was so happy, like, wow, Marvel coming, like a guy who loves Marvel, like.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, what if it had been DC? Would you have been like, I'll wait for Marvel.
Oh, I mean, I felt like when I was 11 years old, to be honest.
Wow.
And
then, we almost had a news story at the beginning of the show about DC because they started to talk about the multiverse of DC opening up. And the only thing I could think was, well, great, maybe one of them in one of these universes, some of the movies are fucking good. It's not good at all. So yeah, but sorry, carry on.
So you auditioned film. How many rounds of auditions did you have for it?
I don't know. I was 3 days of auditions, like hundreds.
Wow.
They needed 60. And then they needed 30 from this, 90, and then from this 90, 30, the main unit. of
Right.
fight. That I was in the main unit, so I had amazing training for 1 month, like every day.
Wow, that's amazing. And where was the training at?
Pine Boot Studios.
It was at Pinewood Studios.
Yeah.
And the guys that go on, Nate.
Do you have are you speaking in this, or is it just stunt
No,
work?
I'm just fighting. I'm just fighting and shouting.
Okay, stunt. Okay, I don't want to push it too much. I don't want you to get yourself in trouble.
No.
Yeah, so the stunt team that you're working with on that film, is that the same group of guys that were the Knights of Ren, or is that another?
Yeah. That's the British stunt register one. So they got all the full categories we were talking at the beginning of the show.
Mhm.
I mean, they're amazing, man. So I mean,
I would have loved to see them more in the film.
I mean, when I get there and I start to know the names, and then somebody of the guys said, yeah, that's. These three guys are one of the three of the Knights of Ren. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then they are as well the stands for Justice League, the main stands from basically all the Marvels. They did all the Marvels. The Wolverine, they were wearing all the t-shirts and the hats.
Nice. That's cool. So when you turn up, was all the fight work that you had to do, was it all pre-choreographed, or was that the sort of stuff that you... Did they work with you quite organically and get you to create things?
I think they had a few series, like a basic series when you do any kind of weapons. But it was all like an evolution of workshop, like it was full day, like training, had physical training in the morning and then technical training. And then, I was working shields, axes and swords.
Yeah.
And we had training for all of that. I mean, amazing.
So that was that month of training.
Yeah, and then they keep doing sequence, and what we did on the filming, they put this. We got at the end. I think it's 4 different sequence, and with different weapons. And then during the filming, they were telling you each couple or trios who had to fight. They were trained. You do number 1, you do number 3, you do number 4, and then we doing a loop of this choreography sometimes in some of the scenes. Some of the other ones, they were like a few moves, like some killing, some. But I mean, it was amazing, like the month of training, it was like, gosh, man, if you like all of this stuff and then you are with these 30 testosterone guys next to you.
Absolutely.
Everybody wants to learn and share, and
there must be an element for you of feeling like incredibly lucky to get your foot in the door into Marvel, maybe leading to more things, hopefully in the future. I mean, it must be a really exciting time.
Yeah. I got things lined up now, but obviously I cannot talk because I don't even
No, of course. We will wait to...
They're really big things, but yeah, that one was later.
We won't let anybody know. You can trust us, Xavi.
It's not like we have a show where we talk about this shit every week. Oh man. Okay, I've got another one for you. So obviously, this is very fresh for you. So, but where's this all going? What's the dream job for you, Xavi? One day, what do you want to be in? Where would you like to be? Do you want to be on, like, actually acting in a film and be on screen? Or are you happy to be a stuntman? Or
no, I mean, unless they need an accent, like a Spanish accent in a film, But I never work on my speaking, performing. I've been always doing physical things. So even when I was doing physical theater, we did some representations of, I don't know, Shiva and all of that, and everything was. I was playing Monkey in one of them, another one he was playing God, so it was all these kind of things. I never talk for any casting. I always say no. I mean, if they want me to try, but
so have you ever done anything like? Sorry,
my thing is just being a special action skills, working with the stands and just keep doing Marvel films and all the action films, horror movies.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time to be in the Marvel world, really.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me! Yeah, I mean, this is the sort of time where you might find that you are just in a constant stream of work at the minute. Now you're in with those guys, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Have you ever done anything in like really heavy makeup? Would you go full on with the massive suits and
Yeah, if there was like a Lord of the Rings thing or something like that, would you would you be up for doing all that? Battle axes,
I mean, I've been auditioning for a lot of monsters auditions.
Right, so, So is that like some motion mocap, or is it more?
I did the motion cap a couple of times.
Yeah.
doing
that must be so cool.
animation.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to work as well is doing one of like a proper characterization, like a horror, like
That's
creepy.
what I was thinking of. That guy,
Yeah.
Doug Jones, who's really famous. He did Pinhead in Hellraiser, and he's in Hellboy, and he's always covered in latex. He's always covered in a latex suit of some kind.
I don't mind to show my face, or not this popularity of being an actor, or you know what I mean? The famous.
Yeah. You're not in it for fame. You're in it for work, and know that.
I like to do these works, like fighting, creeping, doing something with my body. I did this opera at the Royal Opera House, Faust, which I was doing like a lot of characters I loved, like a vampire crawling on the floor, taking my
sounds awesome.
We've actually got some footage of you and our friend Addis actually going through the paces backstage at the Opera House. Would you mind showing everyone some of that, Chris? I think we've got it all queued up.
First clip, do you want that one on?
Yeah, let's get it on.
Let's do it. Hopefully it'll load.
That's the rehearsal.
Oh, is it good?
Hang on, I think you might need to let it buffer up a sec. It's live technology here, folks. So this is when we were doing Otello.
Otello, that's it, yeah.
At the Royal Opera House, yeah. Is that is there too many of us going? Yep. There you are, now.
I think it just has to load it a bit.
It's a bit. There we go. So this is Xavi and Addis working with with Spanish rapiers swords. They're really lovely swords to work with. They're my favourite ones to actually work with. They're great. They're a lot of fun. But they're heavy as well, though, aren't they? It does.
They're not easy to handle, no?
Yep. Are you just going to play it again, Chris?
I'll play it again, why not? Hopefully it'll
quicker
get faster. Yeah, quicker that time.
There we go. That's nice, and that was cool. Ran Arthur Brown, wasn't it? Who choreographed that for us? I mean, well, actually, again, that was a show where he just let us play, didn't he? Until he found things that we were doing that he really, really liked. But that was a mental show. Originally, when he put that together, he wanted people throwing ninja stars across the stage and things like that. And the health and safety were like, no, we're not going to let that happen, actually. We can't. He wanted it to be like Assassin's Creed, didn't he?
Right.
It was he wanted like people to have mechanics so they could shoot things from their sleeves and things like that. But yeah, it was mental. We had a kid with ninja chains doing backflips across the stage. It was brilliant. It was I got in the best shape of my life doing that show.
Yeah, that was good to get shape, yeah. I never had my fingers very injured in there because I had a lot of I was fighting with double
knives,
and then I was fighting against two swords. Not the video you saw was just training, and then practicing that. Obviously, you miss. I mean, two knives like this against two swords, and I was being hitting my fingers. I had like 5 sausages in my hands.
You find yourself cursing in Spanish quite a lot then while you're at work.
Yeah. Everyone knows the courses in Spanish, so it's not like. It
would be good to help the pain. Is swearing actually does have a psychological effect on pain. It helps. Apparently.
Yeah, I do. Normally, now I can swear in both languages because I've been here for about how long? For 19 years now in England. So I got swearing in both in English and in Spanish now.
Do you think in English or Spanish now?
I always think in Catalan.
Okay, in Catalan. Sorry, yes. Sorry.
Both of them because we were both with 2 languages, but my family and all my close friends in Barcelona they speak Catalan.
So your daughter, because I know that because she understands when we speak Spanish. So did you teach her Catalan?
She speaks Catalan. She understands Spanish. She speaks English and Japanese.
Cool. If she wanted to be, because like, do you do any fight stuff with her as well? Do you ever kind of your little ninja?
My little ninja man. I can send you the video. It's too late now to send you the videos, but on this lockdown, we've been training a lot. I train a lot with her. Like, I mean,
that's cool.
That's brilliant.
And the other day we're doing a sword. So I show her.
Nice.
And then she can draw the sword now and grab a Japanese sword.
Nice.
Amazing.
Yeah. She can do the neck
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. That's
Oh,
amazing.
That's really cool.
yeah.
That's amazing. You could be like raising the world's youngest assassin. And but you would never know it. She's such a sweet little girl as well. You would never know it. It'd be brilliant.
I just feel bad about being the only other parent here that's now thinking, when I make beans on toast for my kid and I don't burn the toast or something, that's an achievement. But to have a blue Peter badge, do some fighting in the background, be an Avenger or be in the Marvel universe, I'm starting to feel like a bit of a disappointment.
Well, you should.
Yeah,
You should.
a lazy disappointment.
Yeah, not going to sugarcoat it, Webb. You should.
Oh,
you should
yeah,
feel
this
like
would be great, guys.
Xavi, when you were filming The Eternals, was that during the pandemic or was it pre-pandemic?
No, it was just before. It
Just
was
before, okay.
Yeah, the October, November before the pandemic started in February, March.
That's right,
So
yeah.
I did the film in September. I had training, and October, November was the filming.
Okay.
So it was before that.
I mean, I don't know if they've got a release date for the film yet, but that's not really my question. My question was going to be honest, right? If you can. I've never read any of the Eternals before. So when you got the job, did you have to research? Have you already read some of the?
That's a fair question. Yeah. Did you know about the Eternals? Because I didn't until I saw it was released.
When I went to the audition, I know there just was a big major film, so I didn't know it was even Marvel.
Okay, yeah.
When I did the audition, I knew it was a Marvel film, but I didn't know which one.
Right. Yeah.
And then when I start rehearsals, then is when I was told. And then in my case, you just do, because I'm just in I'm part of the film as one character. It appears in maybe 10, 15 minutes. I don't remember now. And so, yeah, but all of us did the research. So in the break time, you could see us, all of us, just going to the Eternals. But it's not a comic I used to read a lot, as I have to say, as a kid.
Who was your favorite Marvel character? Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's mine too. Mine's Spider-Man.
I mean, look at that.
Oh wow, yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
Spider-Man, and then it's Venom.
The thing is, you got Venom on the other one.
Yeah, not on the side. Yeah, it's Venom.
Nice. You see, the thing so Chris and Nathan are doubly impressed because they're like, that's a cool tattoo. And how does he get his leg up there? So, it's brilliant. I think you've just demonstrated. And how do you keep fit now? Because you said you're 53?
Yeah, 53.
He's already fit. You don't need to keep fit. He's already fit.
But how do you maintain, like, for example, during lockdown, for example, you haven't been able to do
I do yoga.
much.
I teach yoga as well. I'm a yoga teacher. I do a lot of yoga every day. And then I go running. And then I do all the. See, if I have more time, I'll do my boxing.
I'm just wondering, have you got more fucking hours on your clock or something than I have? Because I think you've done more in the time that before I've even got out of bed. You've done more than I'm going to do all day.
I mean, now I just stopped with the lockdown. But before the lockdown, I used to wake up at 5:30 in the morning to do some training, and then have my breakfast, and then wake up my daughter, take her to the school, come back home and do more training, and then do all the housewife work, cooking and whatever.
I think that's genuinely the first time I've ever known a parent like deliberately wake up before their kid. I just try and get as much sleep as I can before he fucking opens his eyes. Like, I love you to bits, man, but please go back to sleep.
It's just his door is like, Dad, I keep waking up and you're in my bed in the morning. I mean, like, you just stop it. You just complete role reversal.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I've been training always. I mean, the first years have been like that a little bit less because it was everything new. But I always find the time to train.
Yeah.
It's not only because it can come a job like, sometimes like, oh my God, I have to do all this crazy shit now, I'm not training. It's because I love it. I mean, and I just feel good being fit,
Yeah.
Just a feeling. I'm not a guy rich moment who's showing muscle.
It's really nice to be fit. Can you imagine?
Yeah. No, hang on. Okay, so Xavi. Okay, so Nathan, you're doing a 20-minute workout every day at the moment, and you're saying, go on.
Well, okay, I'm like, if we were in a comic book, I'm pretty sure you'd be the hero and I'd be the fucking supervillain. We're so opposite, because a lot of the things you do, I really want to do. I wish I could do, but I didn't know they existed. When I was a kid, I didn't have a clue that that's what I should be shooting for. So yeah, I do so little physically, pretty much, that I'm really lucky I'm not massively overweight and in a obesity category. I don't live the healthiest lifestyle. But recently I started doing a 20-minute workout a day, one of these online things, and just trying to inject some energy into myself and get a bit fitter, tighten a little bit. Because I'm 42 now, I'm getting a bit nearly 42. I'm getting a little bit of middle-age spread, getting a bit chunky, and it's not all that. I've been slim
Muffin tops.
I've been slim my entire life. I've been quite slim, but I don't deserve to be this slim. I eat lots of chocolate. I don't do any exercise. You know what I mean? So I don't deserve the physique I've got. But there's nothing here. It's like a shell. You know what I mean? I started to notice that I've got no strength whatsoever. So I've been doing something about it for about a month or 5 weeks or so. I've been doing this every day, this little workout. And yeah, I do feel better. I can feel I have some muscle structure somewhere,
Genuinely. And it's not like a hugely taxing thing that you're doing. Like, you're not pumping iron or anything like that. It's an aerobic workout you're doing for 20 minutes each day.
Simply get my heart beating in case it just stops fucking beating one day because I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? That's the age I've gotten to where I'm starting to worry about that sort of thing. So I've got to get the heart beating every day. So if I can do it, anybody can do it, I guess, but thanks, man. Yeah, get that out.
You do have sexy forearms, Rebby. I mean, they do say that about you.
They are my best feature.
I've read that on many a toilet wall. Webby's forearms are sexy.
You've written it on many a toilet wall.
Every toilet wall I go in, every toilet I go in, I write that down. So, what if you were to give somebody if you were to give us, okay, the three of us, none of us are that fit. I'm a year into doing nothing other than walking 10 miles every day, pretty much with Dexter, with my dog. But that's not, that's all right, but it's not something to kind of build muscle or anything like that. If you were to give us a regime, for 20 minutes a day, what sort of stuff would you recommend that we would do, Xavi, to kind of get us both physically fit and mentally fit?
In 20 minutes, I would do a combination of an aerobic exercise, strength, and flexibility, basically, because it's the three things that you basically need. Because normally people, one of the things that people is run, for example, running, and they run for hours, boom, an hour, 10 miles, 15Ks, 20K, whatever, then don't stretch ever.
Yeah.
Then, that can be worse as well, So I think, along these years in my own practice, I found that you have to balance all of it, not just running or just pumping iron, all of that pumping iron. Then you tell them to do the legs and the shoes, and they cannot even reach there because it's all about muscles, and they don't stretch neither. So I would do this combination of aerobic, could be running, cycling, anything that you like it.
Skipping work.
It's good because as well it gives you coordination. You go more movement. You can do the crossing, if you can. And
people that do a lot of muscle work that don't actually do any cardio, do they? So you've got to keep the heart strong. That's what I've sort of started with. It's just that initial. It's an all over. It's meant to exercise your body all over. I'm not trying to build any muscle. I'm not trying to get a six pack. I just want to.
It's just to keep your body fit and
He's stopped being able to build his Lego. He ain't got the strength to pick up the blocks anymore. He can't do it anymore. That's what he's building up for.
The room to get help.
I mean, the body's been designed to move it. If you move your body, your body, it gets better and it reacts. And then what's happened is that you have so many muscles that in this society, on these habits nowadays, you don't move all the muscles in all the directions. You know what I mean? So you do exercises like yoga, Pilates, martial arts, for example. We use all the directions of the muscles, and all the poses. It's not like running. You just run. You just use.
And you're just exercising those muscles that run.
And then sometimes you pull your arm towards the back to grab something, and they, oh my God, you got a cramp.
Yeah.
So that's what I recommend, to do something that it's you move around, like a yoga or Pilates, or
I mean, ideally,
fitness. All of this fitness I do as well. This kind of sequence of circuit training or squats, push-ups, all of that I do as well. That that's important as well. But
I think the key here, though, Xavi, as well, is like doing what you've doing, continuing that as a for a long period of time, for your entire life, not starting when you're 41. That's I'm going to start somewhere.
No, you can start when you're 41.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm sort of learning.
But he's Webb's 42 though, isn't he? So
forgetting. Next month I'm 42. Yeah.
Yeah, you should have started when you were 41. There was still time.
Oh, no.
I'm 54 next month. 54.
Wow. We've got a few more. Do you want more? We've got a few more things. I think.
Yeah.
I love fancy movies. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, could you get Hugh Jackman's number? Asking for a friend.
I
don't know.
That's my fiance, Xavi. So yeah, don't give her anybody's number. She's a tart.
We've got. Can you do parkour?
I used to do a little bit, yeah. No, I'm not expert, but just because of the acrobatics and all of that, I used to. Not anymore again. I do it like jumping a little wall.
Okay, how do you feel, Xavi? So I've been like on YouTube. There's a load of YouTubers who do some crazy fucking shit where they will kind of climb up the outside of a skyscraper, and then you see them jumping from ledge to ledge and like sort of balancing on one foot and just looking like just them with their GoPro on their head, looking down like that makes my stomach turn, and I find myself gripping onto whatever I'm sitting on, gripping the shit out of it. Yeah. Oh my god! And when I was a kid, I used to climb up trees, jump out of trees. It was never a bother at all. As I've got older,
but that's a crazy.
I lived on a council estate. We never called it parkour. It was just playing on the estate. We used to run around.
It was running away from the Rozzers. That's what it was. Yeah. That's what it was called.
Yeah, because both of you were bad boys, weren't you?
Yeah.
You didn't know me when I was a kid, Lummy. You didn't know. I was on the mean streets.
I know. You turned your life around. I know.
Absolutely.
He was in a breakdancing gang as well.
Yeah.
On his own.
So one man gang. Yeah. So Xavi, how do you feel when you see like those? Would you do that sort of stuff?
No, that's quite risky. That's risking your life. So I like the parkour or the things that, yeah, of course you can fall and you die anyway. You can hit your head in a corner of the street, but doing these crazy things, that's too much. That's not. It's risky, I jump from a bungee, but I got the rope and I got the harness. Yeah. I do the flying wire thing on the shows, and I got the wire, and But that, I think, is
crazy. See, I had a mate called Spaggy when I was at university. He was a mate of a guy at university. Do you remember Wally, Nathan? My mate at uni. Right, so he had a mate called Spaggy. And Spaggy was coming home drunk one night and decided to run and jump and grab hold of the top of a bus stop and just swing. He wanted to just run, grab it, swing, and just land like Spider-Man. And he ran, grabbed it, swung, fell back, put his hands down to stop him, and broke both of his wrists. And he couldn't even wipe his own arse. And his fiance had to wipe his arse for him for 6 weeks. And there was one day she went out to work and left him at home by himself, and he needed to go for a poo. And he was just like, I don't know what to do. And she came home. She came home, and there was a piece of rope between two chairs in their living room with toilet paper wrapped around it. And what he'd done, he just stepped down the rope and just kind of gone along the rope.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Would you ever do that, Xavi? Would you ever do that?
At least you had a question at the end. That's good.
That brings me on to what's your worst injury? What's the worst injury? Have you ever? I mean, hopefully you've never had any.
Yeah, I had so many. I've been with cruises. I've been with the word injury. I think it was when I was little. I was doing gymnastics, and I was doing the bar. It's called the bar, not the one that you flip around.
Yeah,
and it was really old gym. Like really old. Everything was creepy. So I was doing I wasn't allowed to do it, I have to say, but I was doing training that. And then the bar I knew after that it was not allowed because the body was broken, so it fell off the wall. And when I was spinning, so in one of the spinnings, I fly around, I don't know, like how many meters, and I crashed myself against all the jumping things and wooden things. So I dislocated my shoulder, my arm, and I lost the conscience. And I remember,
So in all these stunt scenes and fights and everything you've ever done, has there ever been a time where you've taken a blow or you've taken a hit and you've just thought, that's it, man?
The accident happens when you faff around with weapons. When you work in safety, I never had an accident. More than these little hits in my hands I was saying before, but it was for that. I've been doing fightings with swords. I work with, remember Zhu, the Shaolin monk? I worked with this guy with what Chinese techniques. It was fast and I never get injured. I did, I don't know how many fights, falling, rolling, and never.
It's funny, isn't it? Because everything that we do as stage fighters, it is always with a massive emphasis on safety, and that comes massively first. And the responsibility you have to the people that you're working with, I mean, it's just paramount. And if you're unsafe, you don't get the work. I mean, it's as simple as that. But there's this trend recently, particularly on British films, where they want to make things look really real and gritty, and they hire UFC fighters and people like that. Have you ever done any projects where they've had anyone like that on a film?
No, the fighters they are properly from the stage.
They're all being. I tell you, it's terrifying because you sort of try and talk to them, go, right, okay, so I'll do this, and they're just like, no, just hit me. And you're like, I don't want to do that. I had a mate who was doing a film once where he had to have his head smashed against it. It was Rise of the Foot Soldier. Do you remember that film?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Foot Soldier, yeah, where he was in a nightclub and he had to have his head smashed against the sink in a nightclub toilet, and the guy that was doing it was just some extra who'd never had any fight training whatsoever, and my mate was just like, so you've been doing this long then? And he's like, oh no, it's my first day. And he's just like, no.
Wow.
Have you ever been put in a situation where you felt unsafe and had to say, actually, I'd rather, can we look at this a different way?
This show.
This was the moment his career ended.
I'm so sorry, Xavi.
It's in a really difficult situation. I sometimes if it's something that is not really doable or something, then I just talk with the guys or whatever. But I've never been in this situation to find someone. Well, actually, in the Eternals, I had a moment. Yeah, they put an extra to fight with us, but it was because one of the directors was walking, and then they wanted to feel something, and then they put this extra. And then we were telling, excuse me, he cannot fight. We got a choreography. And it was so hard because we had to interact with him, and the guy was like with this face of like really like.
Everybody will watch out for him then in the film when it comes. This poor guy stood in the middle of you all going. We could have played that part. Any one of us could have done that one. We've got great scared faces.
You was wanted to show him like a couple of moves, like a defense attack, and it was like Mr. Bean or something like that. That was so funny.
I can't wait to see if we can spot him.
Hey man, maybe we can get some premiere tickets for the Geek, for the old Geek video.
We've got a few more. There's some more questions actually.
Go for it.
There we go. Big T Moore. Xavi, what's your favourite action movies or action scenes in movies or TV? Have you got any
question, Big
any favourite films or TV?
So many. Leslie, I like the Daredevil series fights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were great. Yeah,
good fights there. I like some of the Green Arrow series fights as well. They're quite good. Mm-hmm. And then, the thing is, I like the TV most of them.
Have you seen Daredevil?
Daredevil, yes.
What did you make of the series on Netflix? What did you make of those fight sequences?
That's what I was saying. They were some of his favourites.
One of my favorites, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They were wonderful, weren't they? They were really. There was the one, the corridor with all the. Oh God!
took the inspiration from Old Boy, didn't it? And it was just beautiful. Beautiful.
I like the fight, for example, in I don't know, like a Game of Thrones, you know, or any of the Lord of the Rings, you know.
The Mountain and the Viper was a good one, wasn't it?
No, was it the Night of the Dawn? Was it Night of the Dawn? The one with the guy with the two swords. When it showed, he was like the really famous knight that Ned and they went to kill. Who was guarding the Targaryen and Ned's sister. I can't remember his name. I'm sure his name's the Knight of the Dawn, and he had two swords, and he was just knacking all of these soldiers, and then he got killed from behind. But that was a great fight.
Weirdly enough, there's a little link from the it's the Viper and the Mountain fight with the "You killed my sister, you raped my," what is it? He says, Rich, "You raped my." It's very Inigo Montoya from Princess Bride.
It is. Yeah,
very much that "You killed my father, prepare to die." It's almost a little homage or a nod to it.
And of course, it's our guy from The Mandalorian as well.
Yeah. Everything comes full circle.
Absolutely. So, Nathan, we talk kind of most weeks about Nathan obviously having a little geek in his life as his son, and that he but obviously you are reliving a childhood in a little way through your kid's eyes, where you're playing a lot with his toys and stuff like that, and you're sending me videos of you and him playing around with his toys.
I'm going to step up my game now. I'm going to take him in the back garden and get the living shit out of him. Until he
the window.
Training starts today, young one.
Tie a bit of elastic to him and throw him out the window. But are you at all? Have you found yourself at all trying to steer your daughter into liking anything geeky at all?
What do you mean? My daughter
No, just generally, do you like with her toys or with comics or the things she watches or anything like that? Have you found yourself trying to, because you and her are spending a lot of time together at the moment while your lovely wife is away. Are you kind of submersing yourself into her culture, as in the kids' things that she enjoys, or are you like, hey, have you Spider-Man, he's cool.
I mean, yesterday we watched the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Brilliant.
No, but she asked me for that because she's into fairies and all of that, obviously. But I don't know, like a few months ago, I started to mix the stories in the night. I started to mix the Snow White with Thanos and the Green Goblin with Cinderella.
She's got to learn.
Now the Red Riding Hood is black belt karate, and so then she started to get who is that? And then the Green Goblin, and then Papa, who are the Guardians of the Galaxy? The Invisible Woman, Papa. That's so they cannot see her. So we start. And then now she started to ask me for watch films. So we watched the Fantastic Four last week. And then this week, maybe next week is The Descendants. So that keep changing. The Descendants, the Disney movie?
Yes.
She's into that as well. So it keep changing. It still is a girl. So
sorry, I missed something, Xavi. How old is your daughter?
6.
6. Wow, okay. Yeah, so she's
late.
I just get excited knowing how much geek culture my son has in front of him, knowing that he's already loved Spider-Man. He loves Spider-Man more than me and you.
Son?
Yeah, he's 3.
3
and a half, yeah. But he absolutely loves it. So much so that I don't want to tell him certain things because I don't want to spoil it. Like, he's just trying to get his head around at the minute that when I was a kid, there was one Spider-Man, but now you've got at least 2. Miles Morales and Peter Parker. And Miles Morales' storyline is actually taking over Peter Parker and is becoming a bit... In a lot of these timelines, Peter Parker's, spoiler alert, is dead in some of them, To get to that point where I've actually got to explain some of the psychology that goes on behind these things and, why so-and-so is actually a bad guy and, I have to correct him every so often, Like, we've got... I got him a Lego set that's Ghost Rider. And Ghost Rider comes with, I don't think I've got it near me. It comes with it. He's got a little Ghost Rider car with flames coming off the wheels. But the thing itself comes with Ghost Rider, Carnage, and Spider-Man. So he's looking at this figure of Ghost Rider, and he's like, "Ooh, a bad guy." I'm like, "Actually, no, son. He's not a bad guy." I'm like, "But he has to be a bad guy. He's got a skull face, and his fucking head's on fire, Daddy." I'm like, he's a good guy, believe it or not. So it's just at the minute that understanding that he thinks everything's so simple. I'm like,
they want to be good because as well. I told that Darth Vader it becomes good at the end, and then it's like, oh, that's just good, So Darth Vader is good now. I said, well, I didn't expect that he died, all of that, But yeah. And then she's always it's so funny because every time I got a job, a film or opera or theater, and then Papa, are you playing again, bad boy? yes. Papa, why you not playing good, Eva? Why you don't talk with your director and tell you to give you? I said, because you're that specialist in play bad boys. I say I feel good, but general is always like mercenary, a pirate,
Yeah. Wow. I mean,
does she have a favorite superhero?
Wonder Woman. And then she created a new superhero. It's called the Snowflake.
That's quite topical.
Yeah, and then it's a friend of the X-Men. It's really good friend of the X-Men, the Iceman and the Storm. In my
Snowflake's special power being easily offended by stuff.
Yeah, she cancels the shit out of people.
No, that's the kill line, isn't it? You're cancelled.
And you've also filmed Cash Truck, which is going to be coming out. Is that coming out this year or?
I don't really know. I think it's as well. Everything is now changing because Eternal should come last November, and then they postpone it for June now. And Cash Truck, I think it must come at the same time because I did it right after Eternals.
And was that with Jason Statham?
Yeah, I'm not doing much action in that one line in Eternals, but still it was good. I'm a security guy.
I guess that kind of brings us on to, I guess, what a lot of the audience will probably want to know is who's like the coolest person you've worked with? I know you probably don't want to say
Xavi. Don't embarrass me. It's honestly, you don't have to say me. Pick somebody else, Xavi. It's all right.
The person I work, I mean, honestly, sometimes you think that Jason Statham is one of my favorite, as an action, and then you think he's gonna be a funny guy, and then he's very serious. So,
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, really basically talk too much to us, no, hello. And then, for example, Angelina Jolie is just so sweet woman, and really nice. I think one of the most and on earth people is Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
That's good.
Be careful you don't try to adopt your child, mate. You know what she's like, Angelina. You know what she's like. No, I'm only kidding. It sounds like a really, really awesome world you inhabit. It's so alien to me that you're walking around and there's Jason Statham and there's Angelina Jolie and there's
a couple more questions. Terry's asked a couple more things. Would you do dancing on ice? No.
Why? Can you ice skate?
I can roller skate. So I've been a few times ice skating, and then I can do it because I used to, when I used to live in Barcelona, I used to go to work by skates, go to the school and to train. So skates used to be my transport. So, but yeah, on ice. But I'm not. I mean, if you do dancing on ice, and no. Maybe some hip hop on ice.
New show idea: breaking on ice.
Yeah,
breaking the ice. Titanic the musical. Yeah. Do you have any other questions?
There was a Titanic the musical, wasn't there?
Was there?
Yeah.
I know there was.
Sorry to bit on your bonfire.
I know there was the most expensive musical ever created, and it never really saw the light of day other than a few disappointed preview audiences, and that was Spider-Man the musical.
Yeah. There's a really good documentary about it on YouTube about how it all went wrong.
There? Well, they broke the guy's wrist like 3 times.
Turn Off the Dark, wasn't it called?
It was a few accidents.
Yeah, he broke his wrists with the web shooters, things like that.
Yeesh, that sounds bad.
Yeah, the script rewrites, all sorts. It's a really fascinating thing to watch because everything went wrong that could possibly go wrong. They spent a load of money. U2 were doing the music, weren't they? I think
that's right. They did the whole thing. Yeah, the two most expensive musicals that I know of that ever existed, and that was Spider-Man the musical, which never really saw the light of day. It didn't make it past previews because it was just plagued with issues, and also Lord of the Rings the musical, where they condensed 9 hours worth of film footage
I saw that in London. Yeah.
in the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, and it was designed to only go. It could only fit into that theatre. It's a huge theatre. It's 2,500 seats, and they had to. They put in a revolve in that. Like for example, the theatre across the road where the Woman in Black is, the Fortune Theatre. That entire building would fit on the stage of the Theatre Royal Drury Lane. That's how massive that stage is. This huge revolve that they put in, that show can only fit in that building, and it lasted 6 months. And I think it was that show, I think it was Lord of the Rings the musical, where in the previews, as the Iron Curtain went up at the start, that's the safety curtain, not a Cold War reference. As the curtain went up at the start, some of the cast was stood too close to it, and it ripped one of the cast's toenails off at the start of the show.
Well, if it was a Hobbit, you could understand that.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking of what could go wrong with a Lord of the Rings musical, apart from the fact that nothing in Lord of the Rings rhymes with anything else. Gandalf doesn't rhyme with anything.
How did
Hobbit doesn't rhyme with anything.
Hobbit.
was it just? Why didn't it last long? Were it just rubbish? Were it just not very good?
It just wasn't very. I mean,
how long was it as well? If they've condensed it all into
it was 3 hours.
It was nice as a acts, because it was a lot of acrobats, and it was the.
And Gollum actually crawled up the proscenium arch and right the way across the top of it and back down again. That was fucking awesome. That looked really cool. And then loads of what are those bungee stilt things called?
Yeah, the stilt jumping
ones. Yeah. And loads of action on that and stuff like that. But it just didn't really work as a show.
I can't picture a single song from this film. I can't picture how a musical would come from this idea. A play, maybe. But a musical from it, I don't know how you would where you begin.
Yeah, it sounds weird. It sounds weird, doesn't it? It sounds like a really weird one.
Really odd. Spider-Man is a similar problem.
Have you got anything lined up, Xavi? Anything coming out? I know it's quite difficult with the pandemic and stuff like that.
I have, but I cannot still reveal. But yeah, it's I'm playing, let's say, ex-army guy. Something like that, really bloody, and but still, it's not really.
Nice. Have you? So you've already filmed it?
No. That thing's coming up now.
Okay, cool. And are you finding now that there are more auditions starting to come up as we're, fingers crossed, nearing the end of this fucking bin fire of a year? Are you finding that more auditions are starting to crop up?
I think yes. And then now it's a lot of auditions online. It never happens before, Sometimes you have to talk to the director online to see them, I'm waiting now for maybe a call next week of another director to, to see if I can fit in the film or not. But it's more things coming up now.
Who directed the Eternals?
I don't know who is the main one, but in each scene I had different directors there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They keep changing because we film a lot of nighttime, and then we had one, and then morning we had another one, and then
I'm going to say there'll be different units. Well, there'll be all different units.
Yeah, it's different units and different places and scenarios, and so they keep changing.
Chloe Chow or Chloe Zhao.
Chloe Zhao.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
ZHAO. Yeah.
It's Asian. Yeah. It's true. We met her in a couple of. I think she did something else. I don't remember now what they said, but it was quite good director. It was
that sounds cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. Did you get to keep anything from the? Did you get to any souvenirs? Did you get to steal anything?
No.
That's always going to be my question, isn't
right here. Don't tell my wife.
No. You can. I don't want to risk to get anything from there, then But
no.
No. I was tempted. You're tempted, because all this material, sometimes for my training of just having at home here behind on the wall,
I used to.
But
I
don't
know
have any souvenirs. And
I know a guy at the Royal Opera House that whenever he gets a contract there, you get dress socks, so he always nicks his dress socks that he gets given for each show. You're supposed to put him back, but he always ends up nicking the socks. So at the end of a contract, he's got like a year's worth of socks for himself, but he doesn't need to buy any more socks.
They did this show last year on online. Josh Gad did it, that Reunited Apart, where he reunited the whole Lord of the Rings cast during a live Zoom thing like this, and he got them all to bring a prop that they'd stolen. Peter Jackson, the director, was there, and he was like, "Where the fuck did you get all this stuff?" Like, Martin Freeman pulls out Bilbo's sword, Sting, and he's like, "Yeah, I got the sword." It's like, "What the fuck?" Everybody had this like a piece of the set with them and stuff. Yeah,
that's absolutely brilliant. Well, gents, do you have any other questions? Do we have any comments or any other questions for Xavi?
I think we should get him back on and have another chat.
There's just what non-action films do you like? I don't know if that's.
Oh wow, that's a good question. I like. I'm watching a lot of Japanese movies on cartoon now. Because of my daughter, and I find it really nice. They're not fighting; they're all about families and things like that, or fantasy. But to be honest, I don't watch many non-action films unless I'm watching some with my daughter.
When you watch action films, because like I would imagine, like when magicians like Penn and Teller, when they watch magic acts, they're like, I know how that's done. When you watch action films, do you kind of figure out how things were done and stuff like that, or you kind of know what techniques?
My eyes go always towards the fight or towards the thing, seeing how they do. If I watch it in video, normally I repeat the scenes a few times. When I was watching, for example, like I said before, Daredevil or Arrow, or any of the Marvel movies or whatever, then I used to rewind and oh my god, that's so cool.
Homework, really.
Yeah,
it's doing homework and research.
Yeah. It's basically that, checking and learning and then applying it.
That's awesome. Anything else? Anyone else got any other questions or anything like that? As we've hit just past the 2-hour mark.
Talking about props, Terry's just added this. She's got a horse. He said from Snatch the series. It was won by an extra in a porn scene. That's true. That
Oh wow.
She she did some props on that stuff.
I remember doing a pilot for a computer game show once down at it wasn't Pinewood, it was down in Earl's Court somewhere on this set, and it was me and this Polish girl were presenting the show for Challenge TV, and I was chatting away to the producer and to the cameraman, and he was just like, yeah, I work here a lot. And I was like, okay, cool. So what'd you do? He goes, I film porn. And I was like, oh, okay. He went, yeah. That camera there, I film porn on that. And I was like, oh, okay. And he went, that bed you sat on. And I was like, yeah, I basically filmed the pilot of a computer game show on the set of a porn show. Brilliant. What was the other comment you had up there, Lummy?
Good luck with the future projects that's going on.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's very nice.
A lovely comment, Big T. Xavi, thank you so much for coming on the show this week. It's been a pleasure to have you. It's been really nice to hear all about your life and the things and things that make us feel like mere mortals. So thank you. It feels like we've had a real life superhero on.
Just one more thing before we lose you or before you go or whatever's going on. My missus has just walked in. She says, seriously, Hugh Jackman's number.
Okay, I promise you that if I work with him, I'll ask him.
He'd probably give you it. Apparently, he's the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I've met him, right? I did say this on the show before.
You met him?
Yeah. I was up. You know this, Webby. I said this on the show a few weeks ago, I'm sure. I had an audition for an advert where I think it was Coca-Cola advert, where basically I was down to be Hugh Jackman's annoying best friend, where I was just cycling alongside Hugh Jackman randomly while he was jogging in the park, and I was just basically telling everybody that Hugh Jackman was my best friend. And I did the first audition, and it was some guy with a stick with an orange hanging from a bit of string. That was Hugh Jackman. And on the recall, Hugh Jackman was in London filming, so they brought him along to the audition to screen test with everybody. And it was one of the guys from Pappy's Funhouse that got the job. Do you know Pappy's Funhouse, the comedian guys? Yeah, one of them ended up getting it. But yeah, it was fucking. I mean, literally, it was like stand next to him and go, don't talk to him. But he was really lovely and he was cracking jokes. He was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Got another best Saturday night of ages. That's guys.
Terry.
Seriously,
man. We've never had as many comments as we have had tonight, and that's all down to you. So thanks so much, Xavi. That's brilliant.
Anytime, guys. I will be happy to come back anytime.
Brilliant. Fascinating, man. It was fascinating talking to you about all that. It's so interesting. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely. Well, okay, Xavi. Well, I guess I'm going to see you tomorrow, aren't I? Briefly.
Yeah,
cool. I'm actually going to see Xavi in person. He's going to stab me or something like that. He's going to do something stage fighting. He's going to let his daughter kick my ass or something like that.
He's going to make you fight his 6-year-old daughter, and she's going to end
let her
you.
win. Yeah.
She will win.
Finish him.
Really lovely to meet you, man. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Yeah.
Xavi, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much, Xavi. And we'd love to have you back on this show again. Take care. Ladies and gents, Xavi Monreal, thank you very, very much. See you later, Xavi. Bye-bye.
Oh, that was cool. That was awesome.
Awesome dude, man.
How awesome was that? That was brilliant. That was a really cool guy. It's just such a lovely human being.
I don't feel like less of a man now. You feel like less of a man. You too, not me.
Yeah.
No, what a lovely guy, man. Honestly.
Yeah. And we're going to have more guests on the show. I think we've got James Unsworth who's wanting to come on as well. He is a wrestler and also another stage fighter. So he's going to be a nice laugh to have on also. But Lummy, it's been a really lovely show this week, hasn't it?
It's been great. Nice. It's been cool.
It's quite wholesome compared to last week's.
Oh, we didn't have to watch any Star Wars this week.
Well, actually, that's not true because next week we are going to be having a retrospective look at Rogue One. So if you'd like to join in the discussion, I mean, you've probably all seen it before, but if you want to have a more informed join in on that discussion, have a look at the film, and we're going to be back next week to have a look at it. Chris, is there anything that you would like to mention that's going on this week? Is there anything you want people to know?
Just the usual, the radio show I do on Tuesday night on Box Office Radio. What's the score? Always looking for requests. I've got enough for this week, but I like to get them in advance. So I'm playing film soundtracks and scores on there, and prequel, sequel, requel on Monday. We're doing a new film actually. We're doing a new one, Soul, the Disney Pixar.
Okay, nice.
We're doing that. Nice. That's Monday 8:00. So yeah.
Fantastic. And Nathan, is there anything that you would like to say? Anything you want to recommend?
I'll be starting my workshops for my fencing class on Monday. And then I'm seriously, that guy's inspired me to get off my ass. Parkour Wednesday. Thursday.
Parking on Thursday.
Yeah.
Friday night, obviously, I'll see you both there for the breakdancing session.
Yeah. Where we set ourselves on fire and breakdance.
That's it. Yeah, breaking on ice.
Yeah, look, Webb, you got that. Webb, you're an incredible musician. You are awesome, dude. Don't feel so.
That's like, you've got enough. You can play guitar. That's enough. That guy probably plays guitar as well.
He does. He's a trained classical guitarist. He's an incredible guitarist. Actually, he's brilliant.
Pop, man, I can't believe he's found all that time to become that good at everything.
Yeah, Xavi is an awesome. But he's also like a trained masseur. He does like kinesiotaping and all sorts of stuff. Oh, thanks, Big T. Thank you so much for coming back again. Thanks,
we really appreciate it.
Thank you to Pop Not Broth. Thanks to our surf dude. Thanks to Terry. Thanks everyone for getting involved. We can be found on all of our usual socials. The usual socials. We're on Facebook. We're over on that there Twitter, and that is at It's All Geek Twit, and we also are over on our own YouTube page where the shows are being re-uploaded and some edited versions are also. So you'll be able to rewatch that video with Xavi all over again, and you'll be able to fast forward through the bits where we talk and just listen to Xavi if you want. That is how technology works. It's amazing, isn't it? But for me, for Webby, for Lummy, It's All Geek to me. We're going to see you next week for episode 12. See you later, folks. Goodbye.
Bye.